No, anything. I have like 3 separate like intro things I want to do.
Oh,
Oh
geez.
boy.
I have like
Oh yeah, I have a fan and the AC on, and I'm like, fuck it.
Yeah, like I can't hear either of yours. We can only hear
Yeah.
mine, so it's fine. Who cares? That's how I feel about it.
Yeah. I mean, I was like, if we were not doing a podcast right now, I would be taking a nap. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's hot.
I literally just got up from like
I DM'd like, probably I'm desperately trying to not fall asleep, and then you DM me 15 minutes later. I just woke up.
yeah, I just took a 30-minute nap beforehand, which is like, yeah. It was one of those, I'm going to lay down and close my eyes and really hope that I wake up by 5:45, and I woke up at 5:39.
Jeez.
If I'd overslept, I don't think I'd have given a shit.
I'm back.
Hello. Hello.
Life is good.
Yeah, it can be sometimes, I suppose.
Yeah, I took pictures of the things I wanted to show y'all.
You took pictures. That's going to fly real well on a podcast.
I know, right?
It works so well.
Okay, you know what? You're right. I'll just say, I got this in the mail today.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's look.
Oh,
hey, I got that. I got mine yesterday.
Dope. Awesome.
Yep, I got the Gears and the Saga.
Also got this crime.
Oh, that is...
Oh, you have to tweet that.
Oh, yeah, you've got to tweet that. That is a crime.
Oh
that
my
is...
god.
I would not have willfully purchased that.
That is so cursed.
It just got, a friend of a friend was saying, I have this cursed thing and I want to get rid of it. Does anybody want it? And then the friend messaged me and was like, hey. I was like, you know what?
Okay.
It arrived like 5 days later too. So this is going somewhere. It's not going on the wall.
John got an own a hole.
I did not.
Quite that bad.
I did not.
John, the one on top is Sugu, right?
Oh yeah.
It's okay. I'll be honest. I'll just say it. I'm very much digging the open shirt.
It is pretty good.
It doesn't
Pretty good.
I think that was all John was doing. Is John was fishing. John was fishing for a reason for this to be okay, and he knew that like the open shirt, the belly button peak,
The belly button.
he
Okay,
knew that would be his reason for it to be a-okay. So he got Rhett on his side now, so he doesn't feel as bad about this.
John said the funniest thing about Sugu a while ago, where he's like, "Hey, she's not our sister."
Oh my god. Oh god, what are we doing?
Life is good.
Yeah,
We're talking about Sword Art Online.
Everybody's favorite. We all love Sword Art Online.
I was thinking, now that I have a little more space in my room, I was like, hey, I never did buy those GGO figures.
Oh.
There's P2E and Len ones, and I was like, I should probably...
Those are acceptable.
Yeah.
Those are acceptable. That's like the only good SAO property. So
I know, but just, she's so pink.
She's very pink.
So nice.
She's exceedingly pink.
Tell your friends I got pink.
Tell your friends I got pink. That's a great way to say you got laid too. Tell your friends you got pink. We are off to this episode is just a train crash already.
No,
yesterday when you mentioned catchphrases, I tried listening to one of the episodes to see where you said brought to you by Moon Pies.
That was every episode last year.
But it was last year maybe, but like I listened to the most recent one and there was like 10 solid minutes before the actual intro of the podcast.
Yeah, I very consciously stopped.
We do a lot of bullshitting at the start now.
Yeah. You got. I just like, look, man. Podcasting is not an art form. It's just free form bullshit.
Yeah.
And you don't need to be rigid and stodgy and have a very, pronounced. You don't start the episode with the introduction. You don't have to. It can be loosey goosey.
Some say podcasts are just friends talking.
Yeah, but
There you
like,
go.
you find some friends that can talk to each other for more than 3 hours at once.
We did last week.
You find me some friends that can talk for 3 hours. Obvious joke going on here.
Okay.
Oh, I see.
Oh, okay. There you go. Good on you.
It was a dunk.
John got
Okay.
it. John got
Just
it.
take me a second.
All right. Good job, John. Good job.
I'm wounded.
Aww.
It's okay. It's like I've been in your room at this point, and we know what it's like. We know what it's like to be near one another or in close proximity.
It's true. I posted pictures in my room too.
Exactly.
I love this fucking art, y'all. I love the snakes.
You got
Nice.
snakes in your bedroom.
I have more snakes coming in the mail. I'm very excited.
Are you gonna put them over your bed?
They are over the bed. They
Oh.
are the snakes and the flowers and the Medusa are over the bed. It's a very nice.
It's a theme.
It's a very nice aesthetic.
Have you brought anybody over to kind of experience this aesthetic to kind of gauge the reaction of what that's
I've
going to
had
be?
2 positive reviews.
All
So
right.
Yep.
Well, there you go. Don't let anybody tell you can't have naked snake ladies over your bed and it not be okay for that to be there during sexy time.
there you go. No, I haven't gotten the naked snake lady yet. That's the one coming in the mail.
Oh, so that's still like not fully treaded ground yet. Then. We're still waiting on the official reactions for naked snake lady.
But
But
it's probably going over the computer, so it doesn't like all concentrate around the bed.
yeah, like it all being around the bed might send like a real weird message. I don't know.
No.
I
I think it's nice. Yeah, right. I think it's very
I
tactful.
I definitely thought the first 2 or the first 2 or 3. That's definitely intentionally sending a message.
Yeah, like I don't know how you can act like that's not sending a message. Yeah, I don't know how you could be honest with yourself here. Welcome to Sockscast, episode 139. How's it going, everybody? Hey, let me take care of some business up front with regards to what may be a bit of a programming change for our podcast. Right. Yeah, so nothing's set in stone yet. I'm hoping that will be done so sooner rather than later, but there will probably be a point sometime in the near future where the Sockscast will have to go on hiatus for a month or 2 because I am in need of a dental procedure, and I don't know what I'm going to sound like with regards to after that's done, and I don't know if I'm going to want a podcast. For a month or 2 after all of that's done, and I need to get some follow-up stuff done too, so I'm not going to go into the nitty-gritty of it or anything, but kind of watch the website, watch the RSS feed. When I find out what's going on, I'll do sort of an announcement mini thing there for people who don't for people who don't visit the site and just use the RSS feed to get your podcast news. I'll put something there too, so that'll hopefully be a thing here very soon. So I don't know when that's happening yet. I'm just gonna hope that it's happening soon. Yeah, y'all know how American insurance is and all that fun shit. So wait for authorization on everything and hope for the best. But I've been told things should be good to go. We just hopefully need to get things scheduled. So that's that. So just thought I'd get that out of the way so it's not a big surprise. But yeah, watch the site for something more concrete on that in hopefully near future.
Thank you for the update.
Yeah. So to my immediate virtual right, pushing to the red as he jams his fist in. It's red. It's red.
Don't worry, it's a very gentle fist.
It's a very.
I love it when you make yourself crack up with them.
It's one of those things where I don't know if I should I should explain the image that just goes in my head.
It's a pretty straightforward image.
It's a straightforward image, but then Rhett added, "It's a gentle fist."
Well,
so like, what are you doing? Are you just like opening the ass like a soda can first, and then gently just?
Don't ask me. Ask Kibiki.
Yeah, she is the one gently jamming the king of the gentle fist tournament.
Yeah. God.
This podcast is stupid.
Oh, man.
This podcast is art.
Can you believe that there are people out there that think you need studio equipment for the bullshit we do? And I say this as somebody who is an audio snob to the highest degree.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
My podcast sounding the way that it does is no way bothers me. We know what we produce here. You find this and you go outside every Monday morning, you find this in the dumpster, you pull it out, and you nurse it back to health like a little baby bird, and then you send it off, and in 2 weeks another one's laying there for you, and you don't know how. God put it there. That's what happened. God works in mysterious ways. Rhett, are you ready for a podcast?
Barely.
Barely. Yeah. Yeah. We're both there. We were talking about how we were both just kind of ready to take naps. I just got up from a 30-minute nap, literally 2 minutes before we jumped on the call.
I took a walk because I spent all morning and afternoon laying in bed or on the couch playing a game, and then I was like, "Fuck! I need to go outside, before I podcast, or my body will die."
I went grocery
nice
shopping. I went grocery shopping, and it was like 90 out.
Yep.
It's very hot here too. Yes.
Yeah.
I did a picnic yesterday, and it was 90 degrees. And after about an hour, I started off like, Florida boy, I'm totally fine. This is my element. And then after about an hour, under the shade, laying down, just like, I think I'm dying.
I feel.
I forgot what heat was like.
Yeah.
This is a lot.
Those Chicago winters will soften you up in a way that you were not expecting.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Taylor says, ask me about my weather.
Oh, God. Like,
with 108 degrees.
117 degrees today. It's great. Having a great time over there, I'm sure. To my immediate virtual left, badass bullshit Benjamin Button's butthole assassin. It's John Thayer.
Hi.
Hey.
That's me. That's what I always say.
Yeah, it's like everybody. It's like, what should we call you, John? And it's just like badass bullshit Benjamin Button's butthole.
I mean, that's what we've said every episode. For
yeah,
the last
like I mean, if you don't have that memorized by now, like, how do you even call yourself a Sockscast super fan?
Badass Benjamin Button's bungled up butthole.
Exactly.
Right?
Nailed it. Just
Perfect.
Knocked it right out of the park. We're all probably. It sounds like it's going to be one of those episodes where we all come into it just being like, yeah, we're here, I guess.
No, I'm ready to talk.
Oh, good. Okay.
I'm ready to say words.
I'm going to let
y'all.
Well, guess what? We're going to go ahead and let you do that, and hopefully it'll inspire some want to talk in the two of us. Go ahead, John. Get them started.
Well, I spent the last 2 days. I started Kingdom Hearts 358 days over 2.
What?
Wait, what?
2 months ago.
Yeah.
I played about a third of it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, right.
And then I just I struggled. I was just like, oh, I'm not feeling this. I'm not feeling this. I'm really not feeling this. Last 2 days.
Oh my God.
I did about 200 of those 358 days.
Oh, wow.
So like literally today it was like 100 days.
Yeah,
right?
Well, like I've noticed you've starting and stopping a lot of games recently.
Yeah.
So like you quietly picking this back up and then DMing us a screenshot of the end card is like shocking to me.
Yeah.
Like you didn't mention that you picked this had come back at all.
Oh yeah, this one was always going to be wrapping this one up. Because this was like a lingering in my heart, like an unresolved note.
But to just blast through it in 2 days, it's like, damn.
Yeah. I was like, because okay, so so the thing about this game, and the thing that makes it rough to jump into immediately after finishing another Kingdom Hearts game, is that it is extremely, what's the right word? It's extremely miserable to play.
Oh, like miserable as in, boy, this is not fun gameplay, or miserable as in the story is miserable to facilitate miserable gameplay kind of thing?
Yes.
Okay, so you're supposed to be miserable playing this.
Yes.
Like
you
genocide,
are.
like genocide route in Undertale. You're not supposed to want to be doing this.
But don't like go overboard about it. Don't do what I was kind of thinking going in. Like this is gonna be the over the top art game of the century.
Oh no!
Go in expecting this is gonna be another good Kingdom Hearts game. This is gonna be another. So I finished it today, and I was like primed to be mad essentially.
Oh.
Because like I finished Kingdom Hearts 2 and I really liked it, and I tweeted about how much I loved it and talked on here about how much I loved it, and then I spent like a month kind of like my face going from like a big grin to like this like
Big sour,
ugly,
like
a big sour frown.
third base would call it the gas face, where when you smell a fart and then you make a face.
See Taylor already coming in here with don't give Kingdom Hearts that much credit. It's so annoying. It's so weird to talk about Kingdom Hearts because like the fact of it is, I think so I finished this game and this kind of it like right at the end. Like I was on the second to last day and it was just like, oh, go to Agrabah and kill this Heartless, and I was like, great.
Fantastic.
And like no arc up, just like, and then final day, and then I was like, it's like an hour long, and I was like, okay, you pulled it back in, you pulled it in right at the end, and it kind of in a way that sort of redeemed 2 a bit more for me as well. So now I'm just like, okay, I have finished the Kingdom Hearts 2 trilogy, and it's basically good. It's like basically holds together, and it's like basically solid, and all of them end on big emotional notes.
It's a functional story.
That's because like a big reason I started getting really sour is I kept trying to read metaphors into the metaphysics.
You were adding meaning where there might not have really been much thought.
It's not that there's not meaning, it's just like this doesn't map one to one with anything.
Right.
Don't like, because there's like scraps of sort of queerness stuff.
Oh yeah, that's like just scraps of it. Like I've learned that, like especially in a mainstream series like that, maybe don't put too much stock in that they were doing this intentionally or that it's actually a thing.
I don't remember how much Taylor played in the chat here, but again, I'm mad because I want to be mean to it, but on like the terms of the game,
right.
And the terms of discourse around it is like busted and shitty. So I'm just like I want to like kind of assess the reality of this, which I think is that don't try to read queerness stuff into it because it's never going to be anything coherent.
Sure.
And if you take it on its own terms and appreciate the metaphors on their own terms, not as metaphors, but just kind of general, the metaphysics just kind of are general identity angst. Mm-hmm. Just like, it doesn't stand for anything specific, but it's overall moving and interesting.
Yeah.
Because Kingdom Hearts 358 Days, like, it ends, like I'll say this kind of about the climax, about the ending. Like, you remember how E7 has a really cool turn with the villain? Mm-hmm. But then the actual final boss is this pile of garbage that's pulled out of the soul. It's like the spirit of evolution, dawn of void.
But
RPG.
It's a real good JRPG final boss.
It's a real good JRPG final boss, just like every E's JRPG bullshit final boss is good, because they're all piles of garbage that get summoned out of the nexus from whence nothingness became void. Like, it's all that.
Does Dark Fact count?
What Paul?
Does Dark Fact count?
I mean, that boss is definitely a pile of garbage.
I mean, he's a pile of garbage for the reasons that it's just like, oh, this is mechanically terrible.
he's sort of a character instead of that, but also you don't see him until the last room, so
Right.
I think he still counts.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this game has the big JRPG final boss, and it's somebody you actually care about. So fucking eat it, E7. Like in that one respect, like Kingdom Hearts has more gumption.
Suck on it, Falcom.
Suck on it, Falcom. So that's like the allure here, is that these games like have their cool metaphysics and identity angst, and they just like lean in so hard into it, and they pay it off, and it's affecting, and it works, and it's cool, and it's like it's way more interesting to me than like whatever I'm gonna get a Tales game. I don't know. This was a 75-hour story. Between these 3 games.
Oh, right. 3 of them.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, no. This was like Days was like 25 hours, I think.
Yeah.
Chain was like 20. Kingdom Hearts 2 was like 30. But like the story isn't finished until you finish Days.
Yeah.
Like you don't really feel fully satisfied and finished until you've played all 3.
Does Dream Drop Distance not qualify as a Kingdom Hearts 2 game?
I mean, it's that like Birth by Sleep is a whole new cast in a completely different era.
Okay.
And then from there, Dream Drop Distance and 3 like smushed together all the stuff from 2 and the stuff from Birth by Sleep.
Okay.
So that still feels like us. Like Dream Drop Distance continues directly from where 2 leaves off.
Okay.
So like that's, but like I don't even think you play as Sora at all, and like
no, you play as
Birth by Sleep.
You play as Big Brown Pants Man. He's got big brown pants and suspenders.
Oh, you mean Roxas? I mean, yeah, and you don't play as Sora in
Wait, what?
in Days either. But Birth by Sleep is like extra its own thing.
That's Roxas? Big brown
In
pants?
Days?
Big brown pants dude? In Dream Drop Distance?
Oh, no. I'm not thinking. I don't know who Dream Drop Distance is.
I just remember. All I know about Dream Drop Distance is there's a guy with really big pants. And it always bothered me.
they all have really big shoes for sure.
They got that Sonic thing going on where it's just like, I never want them to remove those.
Oh my god.
We got VTubers doing that now, so at some point Sonic's going to get in on the action. They're going to have the Sonic feet stream, don't worry.
So you finish this, and it's really moving and touching and good. It was like a 25-hour game, and like, so the premise of this is that you are working for the organization, the villains from 2, and you're doing missions for them.
Yeah.
So every single level for 99% of the game is your boss tells you, go here and do this thing. And that's either going to be kill a Heartless, collect emblems by running around or flying around like it's Superman 64.
Oh, boy.
Investigate, which in practice just means run around the map trying to find waypoints to touch. And then once you've touched enough of them, it says, all right, you've investigated.
Do the adventure game Pixel Quest.
So it's, and then like the worlds are deliberately like cut off. Like the organization puts up blocks on parts of the world that are not relevant to your mission.
Oh.
So you're just funneled along in each world towards these goals. And then you get promotions, and you get pay, and you get days off, and you're just it's treated at, and then you go after work to hang out with your friends and eat ice cream. So the structure of this game is just you doing a job for 25 hours.
It feels like something that came apart as just being on a mobile device. Let's do small bite-sized missions.
Yeah, Neptune versus Sega Hard Girls has the same. Like, it's all mission based. Like, go do missions, and then at the end there's a big boss that it's the big Japanese RPG final boss happens.
Yes.
It's just literally a pile of garbage.
And it's a pile of garbage, both in terms of, man, I hate this fucking fight, and it's just random shit thrown together.
Better
It's
than
like-
Devil May Cry 2's final boss, which is a pile of
Which
garbage.
is a
Oh my
pile of
God.
garbage. Yeah.
All right, so you just and Roxas is just like doesn't know anything, doesn't want anything. He's just doing this because he woke up and was recruited by these people, and now that's just his job.
Mm.
And if he knows that if he doesn't do the work, then they'll kill him.
Oh.
But he doesn't like feel particularly like worked up about it. He's just like, yeah, that's how it is. And if any of his friends, the people that he connects with, don't do their job or can't do their job because they get sick or something, then they are at risk.
Mm.
So
This could
Roxas
almost be commentary on capitalism.
no, it very much is.
Oh.
Like literally, to reward your excellent performance, Roxas, we've awarded you a new rank. Like,
Oh God.
no, it's just being in a shitty job.
Oh God.
Being your manager, hey, can we do this mission together? And like covering for your friend, like covering their shifts because they can't work right now.
Mm.
And if you don't cover the shift, they'll fucking get killed.
You'll get killed. Yeah, you just fucking die.
Like I said, all the queerness stuff was like you can't read too hard into that because
Right.
it just falls apart. Like I went to this game really excited because I know assholes were like, you know the thing where there's a girl character and then assholes on the internet are like, well, technically it's a he. It's a he. And like every time I see that, I'm like, well, fuck you. And also, I'm kind of excited to see where you go with this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like it's metaphysics bullshit that doesn't really feel like it aligns neatly to anything that actually
Yeah.
feels like resonant or queer.
Yeah.
But all the capitalism stuff, that's extremely intentional and very
Okay.
resonant, I think. And that absolutely lands. It feels like a game made by people who are maybe working a job that they have to work too many hours on and are very unhappy about it. So that all lands completely, except it does mean that you are just living in that space for 25 hours. And Roxas is like an anti-JRPG hero, where like most JRPG heroes are like, like Chrono jumping into the gate or whatnot. They're driving, propelling
selfless.
forward the
They're
story.
propulsive. Yeah.
Yeah.
They are action. They
Yeah.
propel things forward. Roxas, things just happen to him
Oh,
for 25 hours until the very end, and it's compelling at the very end when he like is like, actually no, and like that's really cool, and it works. I mean, it was hard to get too invested in that no, because I know immediately in the next game it doesn't work out great for him.
Oh.
And like, especially when I was trying to read queerness stuff into it, the ending of 2 felt really sour. The way they resolved Roxas's story felt really sour. And once I let go of that and just tried to embrace it on its own terms, I was kind of like, okay, I see where you're going with this. And then at the end, I was like, okay, fine, it works. It makes sense. But like, that's just a miserable space to exist in for that long, because it's literally just hammering. It has one note. It's a xylophone with no other with one bar, and it's just hammering it over and over and over again. Like, this is capitalist hellscape kid being taken advantage of by a weird, awful cult. Dun 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 dun. Do you get it? Do you get it? Do you get it? This sucks really hard. This sucks. This is really unpleasant. Don't you get it?
I'm thinking of like an additional layer to this game. What if instead of like blitzing through it in 2 days, you played it on your commute every morning, and just did like 1 or 2 missions? So
I
like
can't do that.
But
I'm sure some people can.
Again, I'm sure like in Japan where they're all on trains, like that's
makes-
kind of the
yeah,
market
that
they were
fly,
probably
yeah.
looking at.
Yeah.
So just
Yeah.
imagine though playing the fucking capitalism Kingdom Hearts game on the way to your actual job.
Yeah, it's not great. I
That's-
tried taking lunch breaks and playing it, and it didn't feel great.
I can imagine, but that might be the intended like lived-in experience that they're going for.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I got it. Because like normally in a like a JRPG, like a 25-hour JRPG, 30-hour JRPG like Final Fantasy VI, you'll get to a point where there's like, a big turn in the middle, where there's like a season finale. Like you'll have multiple stories throughout the game that pace it out and then build over time into this big finale. This doesn't do that.
This is just one note on the xylophone.
Yeah, and then you get to the payoff at the end, and you cry, which I did.
Yeah, okay. Any good piece of media.
Yeah, but like, I think, I feel like it's a good story. Like it's good. It lands the beats that it needs to, and it pays things off from 2 very nicely. It kind of redeemed 2 for a lot for me, but like, that's a lot to ask.
Yeah.
And I think on some level, it's kind of fair to be like, I could just read books. I could just go do something. There are lots of good stories that don't make me do this. Y'all. So like, I'm at the end of it, like, well, yeah, okay, yeah, you stuck the landing, great, but it was a lot to get there, y'all.
Yeah, right.
And I don't know if I want it to be like 10 hours shorter. Like they keep hammering the note, and it keeps building things up, and it makes the ending land that much harder. But that is what you get out of this game. It is one note done very nicely, but know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
And I think that's what people mean when they say that this is the worst gameplay one. It's the good story, worst gameplay, because like, I don't even think it's the gameplay. I think that if they had like more of a normal RPG story where you have, season finales and a protagonist that does things and that does things instead of the player just being acted upon by malicious agents for 25 hours. I think the gameplay would feel fine, but it's literally like, you're not exploring these worlds. You're not taking any agency in this journey. It doesn't feel like a journey. It doesn't feel like you're driving anything for the vast majority of the game.
Right.
Yeah. I think like the mission structure being extremely dry, like that is still kind of gameplay adjacent.
I feel like it's exactly kind of the intersection here where I think that it's the nature of this story is what makes it unpleasant to play, because you can't because if you change that mission structure, then the story would be completely different. So it's not so much like bad gameplay, good story, as in the nature of this story means it's miserable.
You definitely sound like the gameplay is the way it is because of the story.
Yeah.
And that's interesting, but it's still not fun to play.
Yeah. And that's really cool. As the third game in a trilogy, also, because like this was the one I was excited to play starting Kingdom Hearts 1.
Yeah.
Like this is
weird.
Because I have cool artsy friends who are like, that's the weird artsy one that everybody hates, but it's actually the best one. And I think one weird thing about this, because this is an actual problem, is that Kingdom Hearts 2, I feel like Days was the story they kind of wanted to tell, but they had to make Kingdom Hearts 2, which by necessity needed to also be the normie Disney game that everyone could enjoy. Because like Run struck that balance great. Like one, all the Nomura shit lands great, and it has the Disney shit to pull in normies. Cool. This was like, they wanted to tell this very big story, but they could not fit in all the normie Disney shit, and tell this whole story. So they do like the end of Roxas's story with no build-up in Kingdom Hearts 2. And it's the first 3 hours of the game is all Roxas. It's an absurd amount of weight put onto Roxas and Axel. And then their payoffs at the end of 2 don't really feel in proportion with the absurd weight they get at the start. So it feels kind of limp and weird. and that's me playing the final mix version where they actually added in a very important boss fight.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Do you think there would be any reason to play Days before 2?
Well, that's the thing about it. Like, Days fills in the blanks. Days makes Kingdom Hearts 2 make full. It fills in the weirdness of Kingdom Hearts 2 being kind of lopsided, and kind of makes, as a whole, everything basically fits together and makes sense. But if you did Chain of Memories and then you did Days, like, it's hard to imagine wanting to play this 25-hour game, to wanting to play this. I keep saying 25 hours because you just feel the hours so much more intensely in this game than in many other
counting
RPGs.
those hours.
No, I knew the number of missions, and I was just like, okay, I've got 45 left. I can do 10 today. 10 okay, I've got 15 more tomorrow. Okay, I can do that before the podcast.
Oh my god.
Right?
It's like how I look at the clock a lot when I'm at work and count how many hours are left.
It's like how you give me updated part totals every once in a while. It's literally the same thing.
And of course, you don't know just playing it because it skips days sometimes, so it'll skip like a 20 days, so you don't know exactly how far along you are. So I googled number of missions, and I was like 91. Okay, and I was like, okay, I'm at 45. I can do 45. I'm more than halfway now. Just like, okay, now I'm halfway of now I'm 2/3 through. Now I'm
God.
Yeah. So the idea of jumping straight from Chain of Memories, which was very good, but also was like, Chain of Memories is basically like 10 or 12 extremely good boss fights intermixed with complete filler nothing dungeons and no towns and nothing else.
Well, like, there's always some big flaw in these games, it seems, but they changed.
Like Chain of Memories is it's the bosses are really good. So like there's an arc to the play that's really satisfying and more satisfying than any of these other games.
Yeah.
But like it's a 20-hour game that has like 8 hours of really good content. And then it's like a lot of, all right, gonna fight these Heartless again. We don't get XP, so we're just kind of fighting them to get.
See, it's that stuff.
Randomly drawn cards that'll open the doors.
It's all this stuff that's just like, man, I will check out Kingdom Hearts someday, except now that I won't. Because when you tell me a game is 25 hours long and only about 8 of those hours matter, oh boy, I am just so checked out.
Well, congratulations, because that's all of these games. Go ahead.
That's basically how you describe the first game, of being like, you really like the start and the end, and then there's all that Disney shit in the middle.
Yeah, that's the devil's bargain that I thought I was striking with these games, was that Kingdom Hearts 1, there's a bunch of Disney shit, and then the actual story is perfect. Like, it just completely lands. It feels it gave me everything that I wanted. Really good shit. Kingdom Hearts 3 was like, not Kingdom Hearts 3, but Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories 2, 358 Days Over 2. Like, 2 is really weird and lopsided because it feels compromised by having to be the normie game. All the Roxas shit, that should have all been one game.
Yeah.
And they couldn't do that. So it's 2 games, and you get like the emotional build up and then its own cool payoff. And then the payoff is in 2, which you played first. And if you try to play Days before 2, you'll get bored and quit because you don't know that it's going anywhere interesting.
I mean, you knew, and you still almost quit, like, for a few months.
Oh yeah. So like the only way to play it is to do Chain of Memories 2 and then 358 Days Over 2, and then by the time you're finished with it, it's like, okay, I got it. That was all pretty good. But it wasn't what I got out of 1, which was I played one game and got one perfect story mixed with a bunch of bullshit. Chain of Memories was like felt like a really good prequel. It felt like it was setting a bunch of cool stuff up. It had its own kind of small, cute payoff, and then I was excited to see where it was going next. And then 2 sets up has all this other stuff, and then the payoff to the stuff in Chain of Memories, but then it doesn't really pay off the stuff that it sets up. And then Days does the payoff and build up to the stuff in 2. So like you're constantly ending like slightly unsatisfied.
Well, so there's one solution. That's to play the Kingdom Hearts 3 trilogy.
I'm satisfied now. Like I feel like I resolved this arc basically, and now I'm just like, oh yeah. And then 3 is the one that all of my friends were like, it's just kind of a weak climax, and I'm like, cool.
Oh, God.
So I get to play 2 more like pretty good portable spin-offs that build up to something that doesn't really land. So I'm just like, so I was like ready to be done with Kingdom Hearts.
Oh,
I was like spent, and then the end of and the end of days like makes 2 make sense, and I'm like, okay, maybe I'll play Birth by Sleep at some point. So I'm kind of back on board, but I wanted to fill y'all in on that full emotional arc.
yeah, like the saga continues, people.
Yeah, but like, go ahead, Rat.
You said something like the way you worded it was like, I've turned on Kingdom Hearts 2, and now it's like you've turned back a little bit.
Yeah. The thing is, like, it's good on its own terms. It basically holds together, and it makes me cry.
Okay, that's important.
But it's still, all of it, really stupid. Just like fundamentally. Like the entire metaphysic setup of Shion and Roxas and Riku and Ansem and Sora and Namine and Kairi, and how they all fit together, and how all of the girl characters are actually just the one girl character.
Oh
and
boy.
It's all very dumb. And
Have you met Aqua yet?
I haven't met Aqua yet. She's Birth by Sleep,
Okay. Well, now you have to keep going.
obviously. And like, that's the other thing to understand. It's like you need to play all 3 of these games to feel satisfied. And even then, it coheres basically, but it's also stupid. And it's not stupid and I feel like I've earned that in a way that the rest of the internet hasn't. Like Higurashi is like, so like we all played Higurashi last year. We all played Trails, and those games like ground the big feelings are so grounded and real and deeply felt.
Yeah.
And this is just like, versus like the big feelings that are like the esoteric bullshit JRPG feelings, like a lot of Xenogears.
Yeah.
Like, this is all I'm gonna fight my mom, who's also my wife, who's also God. This is all that. And that's everything. That's all the big feelings are the big bullshit. Like, it's like, okay, so these 2 characters I care about are both different facets of this one other character that is just, it's so funny how much the universe of these games revolves around Sora, who's just complete like, la-da-da. I'm a JRPG boy.
He's just a fucking goof.
There's nothing going on, and then just like the fabric of the universe just contorts around Sora.
Oh, it's so weird.
It's so weird and dumb. Yeah, right.
The final revelation in the final Kingdom Hearts game, every character is Sora.
Everybody is Faye, everybody's Ellie, everybody's Miyoung.
Oh my god.
But like even then with like Xenogears, I feel like the core relationship there stuck for me really hard. But the thing is, like, none of these games have long cutscenes. None of these games have a lot of text.
No.
They're telling a very broad, simple story without a lot of words. So you're basically just watching these big JRPG metaphysics symbols bang against each other until you cry.
They sold you on the ruse.
And which is exactly what 1 was, and it was fucking great. I loved it. So I feel like even saying like Days has the best story doesn't really feel right, because I feel like in terms of my emotional response, in terms of like most of my values, I feel like 1 is ultimately the best one. And then if you go through the much messier trilogy right after that, you'll still ultimately have a good, nice time. Because again, 2's finale, y'all, is fucking buck wild. It's such good, so much Nomura shit. It's I'm sure it's like however the 7 remake goes big, Kingdom Hearts 2 absolutely set the stage.
Oh yeah,
style,
I don't fucking doubt that.
For that style of set piece. It's massive. So like, I'm glad I played these. I still like this.
Mm-hmm.
In the grand ranking of my brain, we've got Trails at the top, and we've got probably Xeno between Gears and Blade, because Xenoblade was like the... Go ahead, Rhett.
Well, like, yeah, you had that revelation of like, man, I would take a bullet for these fucking games.
Because Blade was like the first, Xenoblade was like the first RPG I played in a bit that there was at no point made me go like, I wish I was playing Trails.
Oh,
that's a special feeling. That's a special feeling.
Like I feel like I don't feel like I would have had a better time if I'd played the next Trails game. And that's also Kingdom Hearts. Like Kingdom Hearts is not even aiming to give me anything like Trails.
No.
So then it's not landing on a game by game level the same way these Xeno games have been.
Sure.
Yeah.
So that's sort of the next one. And then Ys is like somewhere around. I just love Ys. I don't feel any badness, but it's always going to be simple. It's always going to be Falcom. And it's never going to go as hard as like Trails.
No.
Until maybe Ys 8. Which
like
is
like
also
8 goes pretty
good.
hard, and I think that 8 is the hardest that series has ever gone.
Yeah. And then probably Kingdom Hearts, and then Tales of Vesperia.
There you go. The definitive RPG ranking.
Wait, where's what about Zelda? Zelda.
So like I've just been like, these are my journeys playing, like, because I'm constantly playing like 90 shit and old shit and whatnot. But I'm getting more into the 0s and 10s big PS2 onwards RPGs now, and those are a very different kind of vibe a lot of the time, and I'm kind of building my arc with them now.
Yeah.
We need a Xenosaga remaster.
We really do.
I'm excited for Xenosaga.
I don't think it's ever gonna fucking happen though. I just kind of feel like that ship has sailed at this point, and those games are just gonna be $300 forever.
Oh no, don't worry, they won't. They'll be $400.
Oh yeah, like Xenosaga Episode 3 just over the last year gained $150 on its price. It's $300 now. There's
this collector I follow on YouTube, and like he bought a lot of like $1,000 lot of PS2 games, and then didn't open it for like 2 months, and he says in like the last 2 months, like the value of everything in there doubled.
Oof.
Like the whole PS3, like the store shutdown stuff, like sent everything into a tizzy. Like prices just went nuts.
Yeah. Those Xenosaga games never got a re-release on digital either, so...
Oh, that fucking blows.
Yeah.
Nope. Hey, PCSX 2 is getting better and better, it seems like.
It really is.
I know.
The last time I looked at the Xeno games in PCSX 2, things were mostly fine. So
I loaded up Xenosaga 1 and it seemed to be playing smoothly, which was nice. And then immediately got dunks in the replies. Everybody likes bad shit. Stop coming after everything.
Yeah. Like, can we stop this, please? I don't need your dumb garbage opinion on the thing that I am choosing to interact with. I don't need it. I just don't.
I am certain we all have our bullshit. Nobody here is too good for Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
I feel like I made my Twitter feed such a diluted or concentrated like syrup of what I'm into that nobody ever comes for me. Bullshit.
Nobody ever calls you out. Like, if you post a good Xenogears or if you post a good Symphogear meme, people are there. They're going to like it for you. They're going to boost you. You're going to get a good time.
I'm not going to tunk on people that arbitrarily connect with, like, Suikoden's flavor of bad.
Exactly.
Versus me connecting with my own flavor.
Right. I don't give a shit. Like, I don't know how people find the time to give that much of a shit about other people's fucking interests or the things they're doing with their time or money. I don't know where you get the fucking wherewithal to care that much.
Yeah.
Not everything's gonna be Trails.
No.
And even Trails' thing is like, hey, here's the 40-hour prequel game before the story starts.
Hey, here's the bad harem part that you don't like.
Here's the bad horn part that you don't like.
Now hold on.
Rhett's like, ooh.
Rhett's
Might
probably
like no
like Rhett's like the only one that's going to enjoy that part of Cold Steel, and it's just like
Okay.
hate
I'm thinking of a part in Azure right now. The intermission chapter there is pretty spicy.
That's a pretty good intermission chapter. Not gonna lie.
God. So I'm enjoying my various RPG adventures. I need a fucking break from bad. Not bad. I need a break from really weird, compromised, boring, long form stories.
Yeah.
Because I love sussing out the good. It's really fun, but it's just been a lot. That's why I spent like a week just playing nothing but like 2-hour retro games. Like, okay, oh, this is nice.
The good comfort zone.
I think that's my. Any questions about Kingdom Hearts?
No.
Before we put this to bed
None whatsoever.
Before we put this to bed for 2 years.
Yep. Go ahead and put that to bed. Tuck it in. Give it a kiss on the forehead.
All right.
And then put the pillow over its face.
And put the pillow over its face.
I'm done. Thank you very much. Rhett, what have you been up to?
I've been playing Trails.
Yeah, you have.
Woo!
How's that Trails treating you?
Pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So last week we didn't do a podcast, and I was kind of like, I wasn't entirely feeling. So I've been playing The Legend of Heroes: Trails to Azure, which is the second Crossbell game. The translation just came out, which is basically. I don't think these are ever going to get officially localized, even though they are doing remakes of them for
PS4
Japan
and stuff. Yeah,
and I think those might even be out.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they are.
Because I think they are because the voice mod that I grabbed for this one is like specifically voices from the Switch version.
I think that if those were going to be coming over here at some point, that it's something we would have already heard about.
Yeah. But apparently there was in the original, I guess, Evolution versions on PSP or whatever it was, Randy's voices were not very enunciated. He mumbled a lot of his lines.
Oh, good.
So they went back and redid them for the re-release.
Oh, weird.
Which is kind of awesome.
Yeah, it's come in, do your job drunk. It's fine.
That feels fitting for if it's gonna be anybody. It makes sense. For
Randy is the perfect character to be.
That's the thing. It's some people were like, "Oh, I thought it was an intentional choice," but then it's but some of them he's just mumbling so quietly you literally can't hear him. So it's okay, they went back and redid it.
Oh wow, that's real interesting how something like that ends up in a game. How at some point you don't as the voice director ask, "What's going on here? Is this
I have no idea."
Right, I know, but that's just something that's just so interesting to think about, that on the way out, somebody at Falcom didn't hear that voice and go, are y'all playing a joke on us right now?
It's just a thing I saw people mentioning, but now, people have already ripped the voices from the Switch version.
Yeah.
And these are, these voice packs are, 100,000 files. It's insane.
Think about think about the job that the seventh mod did for Higurashi and Umineko. They did the same thing. Hundreds of thousands. That's 8 games apiece.
Oh my god.
Hundreds of thousands of files all synced back up to text.
It's crazy because I think the Geofront mod even has a toggle in there, use additional voices. They won't provide them, but they will provide support just built in automatically. You don't have to download Kiseki voice mod anymore.
Oh wow.
Yeah, these patches that they're making are so incredibly professional.
They feel like something that if these were official releases, the quality would be it would be worse somehow.
It would be worse. Because they wouldn't do the chest puns.
No, they wouldn't.
They wouldn't get Brittany Avery back to do Trails from the Chest
Trails
2.
from the Chest again.
But this game though, the PC version of Trails of Azure was only released on PC in China.
Yep.
So for this release, they talked to their contact over there, who got them to start accepting PayPal, so that Westerners could buy it.
Oh my god!
That is so much effort for something like this that is honestly ridiculous that this came together this way and so fucking easily.
Yeah. And then it's like, you pay their local prices and the game was like less than $9. And I'm like, oh, that feels kind of weird.
Oh my god.
But then, this is the weirdest part, is like the mod installs from the RAR file that it comes with.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't actually install the game directly, you just like install from the packed version.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know if it's using cookies or not, because it seems to totally bypass the DRM that they were using on the Chinese version.
Oh,
like it just...
Huh.
I don't know. I mean, I bought it legally, but I'm not sure if you actually have to. Because which is fine. It just runs, you know?
Yeah, like with something like this, you want to be able to just turn it on and go.
Because I was like...
Zero was so smooth getting it started. Yeah. I was like, oh my god, y'all really set this up nice.
Oh yeah, like besides the buying it part of this one, which was a little weird, like making an account on this Chinese site, like the installation part I was done in like 10 minutes, if even that. Like the only reason it took me an hour was because I was like, immediately was like, oh, I probably should have looked for the voice mod earlier.
Yeah.
So then like the very first line of dialogue in this game is not voiced normally, but it is with the mod, so it's like, okay, there's your flag to go look for.
All right, we gotta go.
Oh, that guy's talking now. Cool. Now we can go. So, the prologue chapter in this game, immediately off to a running start. Very good.
Oh, yeah, it's so good.
Yeah. And then chapter 1 hits, and it is a bit of a slog.
Oh, it slows right the fuck back down.
Yeah. Because, like, there's a pacing to this one that is very different from how all the Trails in the Sky games were previously.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Where, like, first chapter has the big cliffhanger at the end.
Yeah.
So second chapter cannot, by design, it cannot slip into the same rhythm that the first game had.
Nope.
Mm-hmm.
And then Trails third, you've changed protagonists, you've got this, crazy setup for where that game actually takes place.
Mm-hmm.
It cannot slip back into the same rhythm.
Yeah.
Whereas Zero tells a relatively complete story. Like, it doesn't leave any huge lingering thing. I mean, it kind of does, but they don't drive it in your face.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they finish the big thing, and then the game just ends. And it's like, wow, that was really clean, actually. So then, this game, a lot of the early stuff is kind of unpacking the JRPG that just happened.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And then having them fall into the same rhythm of like, hey, we're just going to keep doing support requests.
We're just going to keep doing our job.
We're just...
More games really without doing your job.
I feel the doing your job part of this is infinitely more interesting than in Kingdom Hearts days.
I'm going to say...
Almost certainly.
Like, there's definitely parts where, like, there was one side quest, there has to be a follow-up to this, because it basically went nowhere, but that's only been one so far. Where it's just like, okay, you investigated this thing, cool, we'll get back to you later. I'm just like, oh, There was just absolutely no payoff to that. But then there's one about, like, one of the cops, like, thinks his wife is cheating on him with the host. So you go to the restaurant to, like, start eavesdropping on her. And it's, very cop stuff.
Yeah, you do this all the time. Just part of the job.
One of the side quests I hit last night is just straight up the same as the side quest in Yakuza 6. Where in Yakuza 6 there's this local mascot. Oh god, I forget what his name was, but Kiryu gets roped into dressing up as the mascot and, like, entertaining some kids.
Mm-hmm.
And in Trails of Zero, there's the Mishi mascot.
Yes!
And the guy who plays Mishi is sick for a day. So somehow Lloyd gets to
do
costume.
It. Of course, the nice boy is like, I'll do it. I'll put on the suit. I'll put on the outfit.
It's really ridiculous where they're like, you called the cops for this?
You called the cops for this. But hey, you literally get to be Tio's favorite person. You get to be Mishi.
She is so into it for like an hour.
Yep. Gets to live the dream.
She's just telling you, here's what Mishi would do. If you don't do this properly, I'm going to kick you in the shins. She is so funny.
She's opened up so much since that first game. It's like she's very she's very emotive now.
Yeah. But she is like she just has this Mishy fangirl mode.
Oh yeah. It's really fun and cute.
God, and like they punch up the dialogue. I'm not sure if it's really punched up, but it's like the dialogue is just so expressive where she says like there's not a soul breathing on this planet that knows more about Mishy than I. Like, she's really into it. So, like, it's very cute and fun, but it's also, like, I think a lot of the joy of the first game for me was learning about these characters for the first time and having them grow as characters, where it's like, now they're kind of all settled in.
They've got their roles now.
Yeah, and you definitely don't have that growth happening as dramatically as it happens in the first game. Mm-hmm. One other line of dialogue I really liked was somebody telling Lloyd, "Don't be such a cop." And Lloyd's just like, well, I kind of have to. So I'm not sure where the story is going yet. It's obviously the way everyone talks about this game and some of the stuff that's happened so far seems like it's going to be fucking buck wild.
Yeah. You're in for a good damn time.
Yeah.
In Trails?
Yeah.
What?
I trust these games. I know I was a little bit, like, slogging through Chapter 1, but, like, even Chapter 1 ends pretty bigly. I can't talk at all.
Literally just... that just fell out of your mouth.
The instant I said it, I was like, that's not the way you word that.
That's not the word you say, right? I've literally never heard you say that.
And, like, it's doing a pretty good job balancing the political side of Trails and the organization side, which is basically just fucking magic.
I love the way politics gets played in the Trails games because it's just really broad political theater, but it's written well enough that it's just like the stakes still feel real.
Oh yeah, like the big political thing that has happened in this so far was like multiple hours of dialogue and no combat, and it was like completely edge of your seat stuff.
Yeah, it's like, just like this is real bad. This has implications.
Yeah. So that side is not like the slouch, like the stuff you mash through to get to like the crazy JRPG world ending stuff.
You really get to like sink your teeth into and kind of live in this political mire because it's not boring. Yeah. It's political theater that is both fun and feels stakesy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the stakes feel very serious right now.
Yeah.
But then like the stuff involving the organization is just so funny to me where it's like Crossbell is supposed to be like kind of the most technologically advanced country, and they've got like the internet now.
Yeah, they got the fucking internet.
But then the organization is like, oh yeah, well we have hackers, and it's like, wait, how do you have hackers already when we just invented the internet? This is like the way they're always one step ahead.
Those fucking black workshops are going overtime, man. They're just inventing new concepts the moment we make new technology.
I mean, as soon as they brought in giant robots in the previous games, it was like, okay, like, they can kind of just do anything they want with them.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Yeah, that's great.
So I'm excited to see where this goes from here.
You're going to have a great time.
Yeah. God, it is interesting though seeing how like people complain a lot about Cold Steel having kind of anime tropey stuff in it, and seeing these games that like in the original release order, which hasn't really been a thing for people in the West because the release order was like Trails 1, 5-year gap, and then second chapter came out like a month before Cold Steel 1.
Yeah.
So they still skipped 3 games in between there. And, like, you know, all of a sudden you've got Reen falling on girls and, like, doing panty shots or whatever. But, like, seeing how anime tropey the Cold Steel games are and, like, how much they get away with, it's like, okay, it's more of a smooth transition.
Yeah, like Crossbell is that connecting fiber. Like, you see the seeds of it coming.
Like, there's straight up like breast grabbing in this game, and like there's a big old beach episode with everybody.
Yep.
And they're just asking Lloyd, like, so who do you think looks best in their swimsuit?
Noelle.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's Noelle. There's not a fucking contest.
I mean, just everyone was there. It's kind of crazy.
It's
and as John mentioned, like the stuff with Lloyd's semi-sister is a little awkward. Like it's just hitting all the notes.
Yeah.
I think when I said it specifically, there's the, like, not technically my sister romance.
Yeah.
It's a real Trails game.
They're just checking a box right there. It's
just
gotta be
checking
in
a box. You got the sister complex. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Cold Steel's got you covered.
Oh, of course.
They don't call him Marine. Nobody fucks my sister without fucking me first, Schwarzer.
And this is it. This is the perfect one from which all other experiences are judged.
I'm looking at my screenshots from earlier, and there's one line. Should we add sister complex to Lloyd's growing list of tastes? And they're not even talking about the nurse sister. They're talking about somebody else.
Oh my god.
So he's just this dense anime boy, and everybody is like falling over themselves.
Everybody completely dunks on him also, which is great, especially Tio.
Tio dunking on Lloyd is probably my favorite, like, cross-bell shit. Like, she's got such snark and bite, and like it's always perfectly timed.
It's so good.
Like, okay, like, one more thing. There's a part where Lloyd just says, like, oh, I want to have a good time and make some memories.
Oh,
and
no.
Ellie and someone else are just like, they're implying that he meant sex.
Yeah.
And he's just completely dumbfounded, like, why are they thinking what I said was weird?
What did I say was weird?
It's really anime. So I think going from this to Cold Steel 1 is not going to feel really that weird at all.
It might be more of a... Like, yeah, because I played Cold Steel 1, 2, then did Crossbell.
Because, like, second chapter of Sky, it's a little sillier than first chapter.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not like this. They have definitely upped the game of, like, hey, there's a sprite with their... Like, there's sprites of... This, I won't say specifically, but the stuff that they do with the sprites that is like sexual in nature is like really weird.
You made a one-off sprite for this one thing.
This one thing where you can choose one of 3 girls to come with you and have their swimsuit get torn off.
Oh no, Rat! Rat! What are you doing with your life?
It's really weird.
Oh man, that's when I like reset the game and change my choice.
Oh no!
I know who you chose.
Well, there's also... I'm sorry, John, for saying all this stuff.
No, it's okay. None of this feels bad. None of this feels spoilery.
Okay, this is like not the actual important stuff. There's another part where Lloyd gets to apply sunscreen
Of course!
To one of 3 girls of your choosing.
Oh no.
And again, there's topless sprites, and it just feels really awkward with these character models.
Oh Jesus. They're just these little Cupid dolls.
Yeah. So I think the shift to 3D models in Cold Steel makes a lot of sense with where they were pushing things.
I just got lightheaded from cackling. And specifically... coming right after the discussion, like, and then Trails, of course, the benchmark.
The benchmark
for which all else is measured.
For quality and taste.
It's a little trashy in a fun way.
Yeah. You all need trash. Everybody gets some trash in.
Trash begets trash. It's fine.
I'm sure
everybody has their flavor. If maybe you're an old dad and you're it's Jack Reacher novels. Like, it's something.
Oh, no.
You get it from something.
You get something, right? I got Mary Skelter. There you go.
Maybe you're really into The Bachelor. Like, everybody has something.
I know there are people though who like really like the Trails in the Sky games though, and then we're like really disappointed with.
Where the series goes after that.
It definitely gets a little sillier for
Yeah,
sure.
like it
At least-
definitely is like. It's around that time that, like, and especially when you get to Cold Steel, that Falcom was making a play for the mainstream. And if there's a company that deserves a play for the mainstream, it's definitely them. So I can't really, like, I try not to hold it too against them because they've spent so long doing exactly the thing that they wanted to do and still succeeded on those merits.
Yeah.
So if they want to take a shot at the mainstream and, like, you need to incorporate those kind of things to maybe make your game a little more palatable for a more modern audience, it's not going to be the thing that wrecks the game for me. I may despise the harem stuff in Cold Steel, but I still hold those games in a pretty high regard.
It's weird because it's like, it's not the thing I think anybody would actually buy the game for.
No, not at all.
So then why is it there? And I don't know.
It's weird.
It's kind of weird.
Hey, guess what? It's better than having a bunch of Disney shit to make it mainstream.
Oh,
I think
Jeez.
so. I think I agree there. Yeah.
The funny thing is, like, every single time I see footage of Kingdom Hearts 3, I want to play it because of the Disney
Yeah,
shit.
it
Like,
looks-
in that
yeah.
series, I'm the normie where I just go, oh, I want to play the Toy Story level. I like Toy Story.
Yeah, the Toy Story level looks real fun.
Oh, Monsters, Inc. Oh, Pirates of the Caribbean. I didn't even like those movies, but I want to be a pirate, Sora.
I posted the video of the fucking Barbosa, like, I don't know if it's the same actor, but he sounds just like completely doing that role and hamming it up, and it's like, but the Heartless have something else in mind. And then these cartoon Heartless jump up next to the photorealistic pirates.
Oh, my god.
Again, that sounds
Pete
extremely
from
good, though.
Mickey Mouse Pete is there. Sorry, Rhett, didn't need to go back to
No, that's fine. I mean, I did bring it up myself.
Mm-hmm. I'm playing Trails
Yeah.
from Zero. I finished chapter 1. It was really cool and good.
Yeah.
It seems really good. I'm excited to play a good, straightforwardly good RPG after
Yeah.
all the... It's not just all the Kingdom Hearts, it's all the phone game shit.
Yeah.
Also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched 3 seasons of Ruby.
Jesus, you're just like living in the fucking dumpster.
It's like when I spent a month watching Sao. It's just like
You
living
are
in the dumpster.
literally the raccoon from Donut County. Just living
Kingdom Hearts is
and
better.
wallowing. Just that's it.
Kingdom Hearts is better than phone games, for the record. Is better than those games.
What about Kingdom Hearts phone games?
Kingdom
Oh,
Hearts phone
boy.
game is apparently absolutely wretched. I have a friend who loves Kingdom Hearts and loves gacha games, and like with qualifiers, like understanding that they're shitty in XYZ ways.
Right.
Okay.
Fucking hates Kingdom Hearts Union Chi. Fucking despises it. Cannot play it. It's so miserable.
Nice.
Sorry.
For me, it just seemed like John has just had a month of starting a project and then bouncing off of it, where it's
Yeah.
like you finish Ruby, and then like you did a chapter of Fate, but you didn't keep going on that, and then you played Honkai Impact and didn't keep going on that, and then you played Trails Zero, and seemed to have stopped that, and then you come out of here with nowhere having finished Kingdom Hearts all of a sudden.
Yeah, like that was a real surprise because I didn't even know you were still playing it.
Yeah, but it was like in the last 2 days.
Well, that's the thing. I like concretely was like, okay, I finished this arc of Fate Grand Order. I'm gonna put it down
Yeah.
for now. I can
I guess
come back
that
to
one
that
that
later.
one makes more sense. It was really just
Yeah.
You
No,
stopped.
Beautiful Joe, Honkai.
oh
and,
Beautiful Joe. Fuck, I keep forgetting about that one.
Sorry, just wasn't in the right mood. And
yeah, I think it can be a mood thing.
and then I was just those I will very willfully put down. But Kingdom Hearts, I never chose to drop that one. I always was like, okay, I'm gonna get back to Kingdom Hearts. So this was me kind of finally closing that chapter.
Cool.
Well, now you can get back to Trail Zero.
There you
Now,
go.
yeah,
Good
now the
times.
only ongoing thing is Trails right
Good
now.
times ahead.
Cool.
Good times ahead for
Yeah.
you.
Hey,
Cool.
Ollie!
Yo!
Yeah.
What's up?
Right, did you finish? I didn't mean to.
No,
cut
I
you
was
off.
done. Yeah, I was done.
Okay, good.
Ollie,
Thanks for the
what
transition.
have you been up to?
What have I been up to? Well, we've been talking about video games for a while. Why don't we shift gears a little bit?
Oh shit!
You want to shift gears a little bit?
Oh, I see.
See what I'm doing there? See what I'm doing here? I watched an anime. I watched me some Japanese cartoon. Watched some prime cut Japanese cartoon. I watched Senki Zesho Symphogear AXZ, or is it Axes?
I think they kind of want to go with Axis
Okay.
for some reason.
Yeah, it's just like that's a real weird way to write that, but sure. I just called it AXZ because I don't know what they've all got dumb letters for names. So
there was something about this one where they were like, it's from A to Z, like it's a multiplication thing.
I know, but nothing really in the show really.
I know.
It's just like you wanted to have you're doing the Kingdom Hearts thing where you want to have the name. You got to make something tied to it.
No, goddammit, they're doing the Sailor Moon thing of just putting random letters at the end of each season.
I didn't watch Sailor Moon. I didn't like it.
Sailor Moon
weird
Moon R,
person.
Sailor Moon S, Sailor Moon Star. Oh, was it Sailor Stars? I don't know. But they definitely did R and S, and then so Symphogear did G and GX.
All right, so let me get you into let me plug you right into Symphogear Axis then.
I'm so ready.
Let me plug you in. I'm going to start by saying that the first episode has like the coolest, dumbest bullshit happen ever. And it's one of those things where I had to like rewind it a couple times and rewatch it because I was just like, this is so incredibly stupid, but it is also my shit.
She does a Contra.
I watched this. I watched the first 10
Well,
minutes of this.
there's that. But the moment that got me, that literally floored me, was where a missile is launched at a helicopter, and two characters open the side doors so the damn thing just passes through the side.
Give a thumbs up and say we're cool.
I literally fell out of my chair laughing so hard at this bullshit. I'm literally like, Symphogear is now Black Lagoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is literally ramping a boat into a helicopter's cockpit. This is Black Lagoon.
There's an audacity to the intros to GX and this one that is just like, listen, we know we're so stupid, because there's that moment in GX where Hibiki punches a mountain in
half.
But the super self-aware moment is having a character go, editing K2 to the rank of third highest mountain in the world.
and just like like the blatant, like that, there's no way that's not a Contra reference.
Yes.
Missile hopping, there's no way that's not a Contra reference. It's like, fuck you,
What's
no.
a Ruby reference?
No, get out of here.
I mean, they do ride on Chris's missiles a lot in this season.
Yeah, like that's
just their way of getting around now.
They got a new cool toy, and they were just like, man, what if we just did this a lot? It's real cool. So, if anything, this season gets off to a killer, fucking amazing start. It's so stupid. I love it.
See, I feel like you've turned that page where you're saying stupid in a good way, like I always talked about this show.
Yeah, like stupid in like season 1 and 2 was, why are they singing? It's so stupid. Stupid in season 3 was when we were turning the corner. Stupid in season 4, we have turned the corner. So we are
Good.
positively praising with the word stupid at this point. But so this season, it's kind of like more connected to the previous seasons with the ongoing story. Like, I feel like they're kind of picking up the pieces more, like they're kind of bringing more forward. Whereas like I didn't really get that much of that in season, like seasons 1, 2, and 3 didn't feel like they were carrying much forward other than, of the obvious, but so like this one is sort of like continuing that the hole that we were going down in the previous season with the alchemists and all of the like the can of worms that opened from GX. And the framing device for this season is that there's this organization that's sort of been behind all the big bads in the previous few seasons, and they're kind of like finally coming to light and trying to spark like this global revolution. And of course, they also know what's best for humanity's evolution, because like all anime and JRPG villains do. And from that, like, the basic premise sort of sets itself up very similarly to the previous, where, like, this gives you a reason to have, like, a bunch of cool new big bad boss fights for characters to have throughout the season.
It is kind of funny when they're like, this time they're taking on the Illuminati.
Yeah!
And then the Illuminati is just 3 girls and a guy and a robot.
Yeah, it's real dumb. It's like, and I don't think that this season's antagonists are like even half as fun or as striking as Farah, Gardier, and Mika. Like those three. Like when they lit up the screen, it was awesome. Like every time they were on screen, I was just entranced. But they're still good fun. And these new characters, they are more emotionally developed and fleshed out because they're people and not dolls. So so that's sort of the trade-off you get here, is that like they might not be as fun and over the top and crazy as Farah and Gardier especially, but they have more kind of emotionally going on, and they're more invested in the story and not just like things that get thrown at the plot because it needs to advance. So when things happen to them, you can start you feel a little something. There is some weirdness to this series, isn't it? Like the weird dynamic between Tiki and the main big bad, which is real.
Tiki is such a weird character.
Tiki is she's another auto scorer basically, like the dolls from the previous season. She's very lowly adjacent. And the fucking weirdo ways that she interacts with the adult male of the bad guy team is fucking weird. They're saying things together that's just fucking like, I want to feel Papa inside of me. Like, what are you doing? Could you fucking stop? And like, anytime this show kind of delved into that shit, just like, dude, what are you doing? This is fucking gross. You can't make excuses for that. It's just weird, creepy. I don't care if it's supposed to be a doll. She's supposed to, like, she looks like a little child. Stop it. Like, don't write shit like this. It's so fucking stupid. And, like, there's no reason for that. So if I'm going to hold anything against this season, it's definitely going to be a lot of that weird shit. Which is, like, any time it happened, I was like, oh, my God. Like, I would literally be embarrassed if anybody ever fucking saw me watching this. But that's sad. We'll move past that. The season does have like a lot of good character stuff going on, which is like, again, that's kind of something that like I was bitching about in season 1 and 2 especially, is like, I need my character shit. Tell me, like, these characters make me feel something. So you got like one character, and I think that she's a character I feel that like, I think we're made believe that she's probably the one that has her shit the most together because she's just very competent in everything she's doing. But it turns out that like she's actually like really bad at cooperating with other people on the team, because like she has intense trust issues, and they kind of dig into that and how like even though she's been accepted as a part of the team, like she hasn't really reached out to them yet. So that's like a really cool thing that they get to kind of live in and explore for a while, with this character is just like really finally having a really hard time of just like adjusting to these new parameters of having to like team up with other people, and it's just like, boy, it's an uncomfortable fit because she hasn't really opened her heart to everybody yet, and they get a fun arc out of that. I like it. Another character, she gets into a bit of a hot seat decision, and has to be made in the middle of a battlefield where there's really like no right or wrong answer, just one that's less wrong, and she ends up permanently having to injure someone in the process, and she has to come to terms with that, and like, and that also ties into her past as well. So we're doing a lot of really neat deep dives and ways of these characters that I had been kind of hoping for a while. So it's like hey, you're ticking all the boxes for me now, and it's really kind of lit me up the more that this stuff went on, and all that kind of made me think was like, man, I wish these seasons were like 15 or 16 episodes instead of 13. Because, like, even though all of these threads, I think they have satisfying conclusions, and like this show does a really good job of tying all of its themes together, especially with using tomatoes. It's so stupid, but it's a good damn allegory. It's a good damn. It's good symbolism of using tomatoes and how they're grown to bring all this, to make all this make sense. But they needed a little more room to breathe, especially in this season, I think, because there's not a lot of levity in this season at all.
Yeah.
You get like a few moments where Hibiki's worried about not being able to finish all of her summer school homework.
That's the big fucking thread.
That's the one normal life thread that's going through this whole season is she can't get her homework done.
It's very silly.
But this is not like this show does not have a chance to slow down like at all though. Yeah. They don't even have time to work in their little high school friends. Like, you know, Aww. They're always kind of hanging around. There's usually like an episode where they're very prominently there, and they're just like, that just does not happen this season.
They're in a scene at the very end.
Yeah.
They do not talk.
They don't even talk. There's
like
just nothing.
There's definitely a decision of like, yeah, we're just not going to get their voice actors in at all. Fuck it.
Yeah, like, this is a season that is very focused on the plot. It's very plot heavy. Like, this is the most plot heavy, I think, a season of this show has been, because they're trying to kind of fill in all the blanks, because this show is literally like revealing the people that have supposedly masterminded the first 3 seasons or have been involved with everybody that's been an antagonist in the first 3 seasons. So they've got to make all of this stick and make it believable. And they do a pretty good job of that.
I don't know why they put this in, or if because they didn't. The reason the first 3 seasons are so kind of distinct is because they didn't think they were going to get greenlit for more seasons. And then seasons 4 and 5 were greenlit at the same time, so they were able to kind of build a smaller arc out of that. But in season 2, Maria actually does mention Adam and the Illuminati.
Yeah.
And I don't know why they put that line in, but it's like weird that they actually are able to call back to that.
That's it, you know, like sometimes it's you accidentally strike gold, I guess.
Yeah. It's like a blink and you'll miss it line too. It's like, because it's not important in the moment. It's just you look at it afterwards and go, huh, did he actually plan this ahead?
Yeah, it's interesting. I like it a lot, and like, of course, like, this show goes big. The fights are fun. Like, everything is still pretty much like it. Like, if you didn't like Symphogear already, this isn't going to convince you. You just kind of have to already be bought in by this point, I think. Another thing, this one's always been the big one in my craw, is that singing is a big part of the show, but anytime that they were singing and fighting, it was just like, you're still just singing normally, and there's a disconnect for me. So they actually do a lot more acting during the singing in this season, like more so than ever before. Like, when they're like really laying into an attack, and it's like they're at a part of the song, they're just screaming those fucking lyrics like a banshee. Like, how is like your throat is dead by the time you get home? I just know it.
It's weird that it's professional singers doing these big screams.
Oh, they're just
the song.
Huge. Like, these are the kind of screams where you hear it and my throat hurts imagining how they fucking did that.
But again, it's like, okay, I hope you guys aren't injuring yourself, because you do have like legitimately singing careers outside of this.
Yeah,
I've seen people complain that like the album versions of the songs are like completely different from the in-show versions by this point.
Yeah, I prefer that. Like, it makes the show more, like, it makes it work more for me.
But then there's no way to actually just listen to the show version without watching the show. Like, the ones they release on the CDs are just the clean version.
Yeah, like,
that's the idealized one.
That's how I would prefer it. Like, if I'm going to listen to the song in a listening to a song setting,
it would be funny if they just released the screaming version.
Do the screamy version too. Yeah. That would be fine. Do that. Yeah. But like, if I'm just gonna listen to the songs in a normal setting, like, I'm probably not gonna want that version. But if I'm gonna if I'm watching the show, like, give me that grit. Like, make the attack. Like, it makes those attacks land so much, despite the fact that they reuse animations a lot. Like, when the actresses really throw themselves into singing those parts, and along with, in conjunction with those big attacks lighting up the screen, it feels nice. It makes everything work for me just a bit more.
Cool.
So I'm very excited going into the final season, because like, even if this show ends up like on the whole of like being like a 7 for me, it's an incredibly solid 7.
Nice.
Just because seasons 3 and 4 have really kind of picked up the pace. They've kind of they've created expectations for me, And those expectations aren't colored by Rhett's excitement. They're colored by my own excitement of having been like, okay, I think that you're competent enough now to do the thing that I've wanted you to do from the start. And this show is just kind of like, like this is a thing that I'm actually like, I'm not just watching to appease a friend or something, or I'm not watching out of blind curiosity. I'm not watching to make fun. Like, I'm watching now because, ever since season 3, I'm genuinely, like, I'm invested now. I have to know how this ends. And I've got a lot of confidence that it's probably going to be okay.
Like, the first 3 seasons, they just end as if they might be a series finale.
Mm.
This one has big cliffhanger at the end.
Oh boy!
The way they call back to Symphogear G though backs me up.
Yeah.
Where it's like, actually, this thing that was incredibly stupid and convenient in Symphogear G actually changed everything forever.
It's so good! The way that they just casually drop that bombshell. It's like, oh my god, what are they going to do with this? It's such a good fucking drop. Oh!
I'll try to be vague about this, though. There's one part where character is holding up an arm, and then energy is in the air, and then moves over to Hibiki instead of the arm.
Yep.
And I thought, oh my god, are they going to acknowledge the fact that her arm got torn off in Symphogear G? And they still don't.
Nope.
They make a different Symphogear G callback.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, yeah. What a good 13 episodes of television program that was.
Wow. That's some solid
nice.
7.
Yeah.
This is really funny because I feel like Polly kind of turned back towards it in GX the same way I did listening to her. So this makes me happy and excited about this one, since this is the one you like the least.
Yeah, like what's going
on
here? What's going on here? You like this season the least?
Okay, so there's a couple reasons for it.
Mm-hmm.
Some are valid, some I feel are invalid. The invalid one is there's not enough Hibiki.
There's not this is not Hibiki's story. It's very much focused on 2 other characters kind of taking the spotlight here that needed that shine. I think.
No, I agree. But then you get to the last couple episodes, and they immediately 100% pivot back to Hibiki.
Yeah, it's like, wait, hold on. She's still cool. Don't worry.
Don't worry. I just exhaled.
But then there's also, the way they do some of the villains dirty in this one really uncomfortable for me in Fresno. The one with Shirabe and Tsubasa on the highway.
Yeah. That one was really fucking weird. It felt very convenient.
That one was so strange. Like, she's just running away from the Symphogears and they murk her.
Yeah, like, what the fuck? It's so wild. Like, it's just like the most unprovoked attack on somebody I think we've seen from from this group of characters. And it's just like, she wants nothing to do with them. She is literally trying to get somewhere else because something bad's about to happen and somebody needs to be warned. And they just fucking murk her ass.
I felt really bad after that episode. Aww. And this was not a show that had made me feel bad in that way till that point.
Yeah, that's valid.
Because they never acknowledge it. Like, hey, you killed her.
Kind of just murdered somebody who was not trying to fight you. She defended herself, but she did so while running away. This is not a stand your ground case.
Because it's like, if it was Hibiki, that would be her character would be broken if it had been her, so they would have written it differently.
Yeah.
So there's just things like that, and the tomato one is also a little uncomfortable for me. Because I don't want to say things that I don't like about the show because I don't want to sour your opinion on it.
No, you're not going to. I have my own. What, Rhett? I'm capable of my own thought, Rhett.
A thing I see a lot, and I came to this conclusion myself, is that the tomato metaphor is also kind of justifying the abuse of Natasha on Shirabe and
See,
Kirika.
I didn't like. That's not why I liked that. That's not why I liked that metaphor. See, I thought like that when they kept flashing back to the abuse and trying to paint that as a good thing. I kept wanting to throw a shoe through my TV.
Okay, good. Okay,
I'm not sure what they were like. This goes back to the Hibiki's dad thing in the previous season, which thank God they just let go of in this season. They just don't even fucking mention it. When they started talking, like, this is a woman that, like, literally, like, abused Shirabe and Kirika.
But then painting that as, like, oh, you were the tomatoes that I was toughening up for
the
harsh words.
Fuck that! That's such...
Okay.
That is such awful fucking writing. Like, whoever wrote that should feel bad.
Okay. Like, it was those moments, like, the marking and then the tomato shit, where it's just like, there's things in the season that I can't defend, like, unconditionally.
Sure.
Compared to, like, any of the others.
Yeah, like, those two things, I very much, I think those two things are the absolute things I took away from the season thing. Yeah, and the weird fucking, the way Tiki is presented in this, it's just fucking, ugh.
It seems like they have a running thread in, like, everybody is redeemable. Everybody is actually good.
Yeah.
Because they did that with Fine and G. They did that with Hibiki's dad. They do that with the bad fucking Hojo in GX.
Oh God.
And they're doing it again. It's that just seems like a weirdness about the show's lens is that they want everybody to be good, and everybody has a reason. Everybody's actually got the best interests of the people they hurt at heart, which is sweet and
I feel like it's trying to look. I feel like the show is viewed through a lens of almost like Hibiki's mindset of how she would view things, and they're basically validating that, and it just feels real shitty when it's involved with literal child abuse.
Yeah, like I think her character really did have the best intentions, and like. Again, it's rough because it's connected to Symphogear G, which is like the weakest story by far.
Yeah.
And like it's also connected to like extra material side reading that wasn't officially translated into English. Because like I think the story with her is that after Fine died, and they were looking for who her soul went back into, the American government decided that it was none of the kids, so they were just going to clean up that entire operation and kill everybody involved.
Yeah.
So she broke them out of that. She did save them. So she does have,
Okay, you did one good thing.
I know. It's rough.
Yeah.
But like having flashbacks to her like actually hitting them.
Actually beating them!
And then having a sad look on her face.
Like,
it's just like,
that's rough.
That's super bad.
That is the most like manipulative abuser bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, get the fuck out!
The only thing I can say is that I feel her character is like the literal opposite of the mom in Promised Neverland. Where mom wanted to give them a perfectly gentle, stress-free life and then murder them.
Yeah.
Where Natasha wanted to toughen them up for the realities of the world so that she could save them later on. Like, they're pretty much opposites, but they're both very, very flawed.
Yeah.
But I also hate the mom in Promised Neverland way, way more.
Yeah.
Because she's just a fucking monster.
She's she's a great character, but an absolute fucking monster.
Yeah. So I do feel like save these kids from the American government murdering them is like, hey, that's a pretty big
good thing.
Check mark in your favor.
And then beat the shit out of them later. Probably not the best follow-up there.
Gotta toughen those tomatoes up.
They're much sweeter when you abuse them.
Oh, see, do you know why I joke about this metaphor being awful all the time now?
Yeah, it's pretty dreadful.
It just falls apart.
Like, yeah. I think that the idea that they're trying to say here is that, like, having gone through adversity does make a person stronger. It gives them more empathy. Like, it makes them a sweeter person. But the way that it is applied in this situation, it's just giving excuse to abuse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, like, last week when we basically had the same conversation off stream and you said, like the tomato thing, it's about, toughening up somebody, and or going through adversity. I was like, That's one way to see it. If you ignore the child abuse stuff.
No, I
Okay,
was
I'm glad
cognizant of that. I'm very
Okay.
cognizant of that.
Because some people read this and they're just like, "Yep, I understand it," and some people are like, "What the fuck are you trying to show?"
Yeah, this is a show that is very conflicted about a lot of things. Like I said, the weird fucking tiki shit, the Hibiki's dad shit, and this shit especially with Natasha is just like, it's really bad, everybody.
Okay, those are the reasons I would consider putting this as my least favorite season. But my least favorite season is probably now G. Actually,
yeah, G is pretty bad.
It's very stupid.
I
feel like the show. Oh, sure.
Yeah. All right. We're going to take a 5-minute break, and then we'll be back to toss it around once more. Stick around, everybody.
Ready.
When me and John unmuted at the like exact same second.
Oh, perfect.
I was like, wait, we all tweeted. We're all
We're all here.
I was just on the toilet.
Nice.
The world. Okay,
nice. Proud
Bye-bye.
of you. Proud of you.
world. Oh, nice, Chris. Nice,
That's
Chris.
a very good Chris.
I mean, there's a Hibiki there too.
Oh, sure.
I said Hibiki. I said that's a nice
Oh,
Chris.
okay. Okay.
They both have good looks going on.
I want Hibiki. Polly wants Chris. John wants both.
John wants Miku.
Ah,
you
true.
need Miku's
True.
suit. You need Miku's suit.
You did find. Oh my god, you did find Hibiki dress Miku suit.
Yeah, it was
I
pretty
can't
good.
I mean, it was a bit of a technicality. The Hibiki's dress was not quite as what I wanted. Like that one I posted earlier of Carol and Hibiki. Like that's what I want is Miku carrying Hibiki.
Excellent. That I remember that sunflower dress. Hibiki
Oh my
was
god!
so happy. I retweeted that one again because I just had it in my favorites and I was looking at it again. Like
Turtle
oh.
Combat. Turtle Combat is right. Nothing beats a good shit. It's a Danganronpa 2 character that would agree.
I'm not shitting in 5 minutes. Come on. If I had to shit in the middle of the podcast, I'd be messaging y'all like,
Can y'all like stall for 20?
yeah. Every now and then people will be like, oh yeah, you know, sometimes people will poop in five minutes and I'll just be like, what the fuck? You're not
You're human.
Either that or they're just fucking filthy back there.
Everybody's
just walking around with
God
unwashed, miserable asses.
God just made you a straight tube from stomach to asshole. Welcome to the Sockscast. We talk about the digestive system here.
I'm just gonna say, when I have to go, it's immediate.
I mean, yeah, the shitting happens quickly, but the cleanup is like leisurely. That's what I'm saying.
Leisurely, like you're enjoying it here.
5 minutes is enough time. What are you doing back there?
You're not cleaning up effectively. It's like people that read a book and read a long book in an afternoon, and then I find out, oh, you were just skipping chapters. You were just skipping ass cleanup. Your butt. You didn't read the whole book. Your butt's just a mess.
You just got permanent mud butt.
Nah.
Permanent mud butt.
Glad we can talk about basically anything on this podcast because nobody fucking listens to it.
That's very nice.
It takes a lot of the pressure off. We can talk about what kind of dumps you take.
Honestly, I'm not looking at chat. I think after last week's kind of just hangout, it was like, yeah, I'm just kind of not going to pretend anybody's actually listening.
You just kind of got you. Once you realize nobody gives a fuck, you can just let go. Just let go, let loose. It's like a dump, really.
Yeah.
As we said that, three of our good friends posted in the chat.
Everybody wants a bidet.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I just take a shower. Never mind.
Oh my.
All right.
Reminds me of that joke we used to make about Eric dumping in the shower anytime he had to go. So I just called him the shower dumper for a long time. And then weird, he doesn't talk to me anymore. I don't know why.
Aww.
I'm kidding. Oh man, I'm being the most professional podcast host right now, and that I'm finishing off strawberry banana yogurt. It's very good. It's very good. Which is also coincidentally very good for the digestive system.
There you go.
I will be right back. I'm watching this fly bounce around my room, and it's just like I have to kill it. I'm sorry.
Keep the audio on. I want to hear you going at this thing. Do not mute, motherfucker.
If it was good enough for a whole ass episode of Breaking Bad, it's good enough for our podcast.
Exactly. We can have a fly arc on our episode and be just as It'd be just as compelling.
Just as artful, I think.
Yeah.
Just like loaded. I have like a bunch of little bullshit things.
Uh-huh.
I figure I could fire those off and make up for the for my very long segment. But I told y'all, I mean, we could wait for let's wait for Red. Let's wait.
You
for
really
Red
want to? Because he muted and I told him not to. So I think the fact that we cut him out of this portion of the he's
I
back.
did not mute.
Okay.
I didn't mute.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear you swinging a fly swatter or anything.
Well,
so
I grabbed a tissue,
Mhm.
but now I can't see. I didn't see where he went.
oh, the little bastard.
So at some point, I'm just gonna stand up and fucking grab him.
Yeah.
It's not a small fly. It's like one of those big, spindly, like long legs fuckers.
Oh, I hate this fuckers. I have a lamp in my office. He gets in the the lamp is like a bowl, so it's like the lampshade goes up, so they get in there.
Mine is exactly the same way. There's just a bunch of dead flies at the bottom.
Yeah, I cleaned that out the other day. I clean that out once a week.
I do it like once a year.
Oh no!
But this guy, I'm just watching this fly bounce against the Hibiki poster, like fucking stop that. He's just donk. Like
it's not so much that if there's a fly in your room, it's that he's fucking with the Hibiki poster.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just watching. He's just flying into it like over and over, like. Whoop, whoop.
Like, what are you trying to accomplish, my dude?
Well, to be fair, if the fly is going to bounce against any surface in the room, statistically, it will likely be a hibiki.
Yeah, we've seen your room at this point, Rhett. So we know that the hibiki saturation levels are pretty high.
90%.
Yeah, like I don't know how you whip your dick out in your room to masturbate and still not bump into a hibiki's forehead.
Well, maybe that's the point.
Maybe that's the point. Just a soft, loving thwap. Right there. Just right on there.
Oh my god. Good thing nobody listens to this.
Nope! Like I said, when you learn to let go and you just let those standards fly out the window, who fucking cares? John Thayer, get this mess back on track for us, please.
Alright, I told this Molly, just a bunch of little games because I was like exhausted from playing so many long bad games that I was just like, I want to slam through remember how to love video games.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I played in 3 days. I replayed Dragon Quest 1 on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
That game's dope. I really like it. It's just a nice chill, especially in the remakes where it's like 5 or 6 hours long and you can just chew through it. It's like, yes.
Did they
Did
they up the experience yields and stuff in that, or is it just a matter of it being easier to interact with?
I'm pretty sure all the remakes up the experience and gold yields a lot from the NES originals.
Okay.
Which is part of why I have not yet played the NES originals. I have only played the remakes.
Oh, I did not know that. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
You just lost a whole bunch of cred.
Oh no.
Yeah, everyone's like, oh, Dragon Quest is grindy. And I'm like, I never have to grind in Dragon Quest. What are you talking about?
Oh.
I thought
That's because I play the DS games, and I play the Game Boy Color games, and I play the Super Nintendo games. It's fine.
I played it when it was called Dragon Warrior.
Yep. I got a free copy from Nintendo Power.
Yeah. They wanted that to be big here so badly.
I
They
think
gave it
it's
away for free.
I think it's less of we want it to be big and more of, man, nobody's buying these.
Yeah, I think that the NES original of Dragon Quest is about twice as long as like all the remakes.
Yeah.
Really? Because I got to the final boss. Like, it was the first JRPG I ever like engaged with. And I almost beat it.
Without many shenanigans, that game can be speed ran in about 4 hours.
Okay. And I was just thinking, like, I don't think it was that long or arduous.
No, it's not. It's very straightforward until it's not, and then you've got to go find the right event trigger.
I like how that game is structured. I like that you basically have 2 different ways you can walk from the start, and then like there's ways to progress towards getting the 2 things that you need to open the final dungeon from both paths. So you just kind of keep poking at the edges of both paths until you run into a guy that kills you. And you're like, okay, let's go the other way.
Back when RPGs let you do that.
Yeah, it's you're basically have the whole world open from the start. It's just that if you try to go into the end game areas, it's farther away from the place where you respawn, and enemies will kill you very quickly. So you're incentivized to just explore close to you and then branch out slowly. It just feels, it's very, playing the remakes especially, it's so speedy. It just feels like just putting an RPG in my veins. Just give me the pure good stuff.
Yeah, give me like the most concentrated dose of JRPG that you got, and it's hard to think of much, of much more pure and distilled without any bells and whistles than Dragon.
Because boy, you get you get those endorphin hits when you level up. When you get that new equipment, feels real good. The fighting in all of these games feels real good. They just put a lot of attention into making making like those critical hits, making the level up sounds, and all. Just I played the phone game, and even the phone version, it all basically comes through once you get used to the ugly tiles.
Ugh.
Yeah. Why would they make it ugly?
No, in their mind, they were making it better. Like, you're taking a bullshit game and making it good for a new audience. Just like AM2R.
Yeah, Dragon Quest 3 looks great on phones. I think it doesn't have that weird tilt.
Yeah.
It just looks like the SNES game, but without the animations, which is a shame. But
Yeah.
otherwise, it looks great. 1cc Space Megaforce. It took 2 sittings.
Yeah, that game's not very hard.
It's really not hard.
It's a lot of spectacle, but it is not very difficult.
Despite it being a full calendar hour long.
Oh, God, yeah.
Well, thank God it's not that hard then.
Yeah.
Yep. That was my very first Aleste game
Nice.
that I actually finished.
They're all kind of like that.
Yeah, I finished Space Megaforce, and I went in a couple places, and I was like, so, I've kind of been under the impression that, like, Compile is a good dev that makes good games. And I'm trying to remember where I got that impression.
I think I might know.
Wow.
I might know where.
Because partly from Red, partly from a number of other people. And I'm just like, it's like they were in the exact same, like, caliber in my brain as, like, Sunsoft. Just like this classic 80s dev that's not around anymore. 80s, 90s dev. And then I realized, like, every Aleste game I've tried has been like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just like kind of mushy.
Okay,
I did like this one a lot. Ultimately, I should say. Yeah, Rhett?
I know why I love Compile is because they made the Guardian Legend.
Yeah.
Like, straight up, that's the one.
Okay, I have not played that one yet.
That was it.
Go ahead, Rhett.
And it is weird because the shmup parts in that I don't think are that good.
They're not. No, they're the most Euro shmup awful shit.
They are really. You take a lot of damage.
Yeah.
You have a lot of HP. But, like, again, for when that game came out, the idea of, like, we made a Zelda with shmup areas, fucking beautiful, masterful, genius. It's so cool. You play like this robot girl that turns into a spaceship. Like,
what more could you do to cater to Rhett sensibilities?
That's what it was.
I mean, I'm saying this game, like,
go ahead, Rhett.
That game, like, formed those sensibilities where I was like, holy shit, my spaceship turned into a girl. Whoa. Like, fucking awesome. This game came out in 89 in America, like, extremely early.
Yeah.
I think this is the best game I've ever played. What is there more?
At the time, it might have been the best game I'd ever played.
It's awesome. Oh, that's what it was. Is that I played Space Megaforce and I was like, that was really pretty. And then I started Golvelius and then like got stuck and then quit. And then I was like, which does have shmup sections actually. So it's like part shmup, part ET for the Atari 2600 where you're running around falling into holes that all look the same. It's great. But I did that and I was like, okay, here's my Compile journey. And then I talked to a friend who is a Compile fan. And he kind of filled me in on more of the general vibe that they were doing. Kind of starting to think of them less as like this really good old classic game developer and more like kind of Dojin-y PC nerds that made weird, cool shit. Weird, like evocative Kusoge.
Yeah.
I mean,
Go ahead, Rhett.
I'm just I'm just looking through their history. They made like Alien Crush and Devil Crush on the TurboGrafx 16, which were my favorite pinball games like ever. They also made a little series called Puyo Puyo.
Yes, they did get into Puyo Puyo later.
That's kind of a big deal.
Yeah,
fair enough. It's probably they're good. I'm just like the feel of Aleste is very not what I'm typically after from shmups. So I was like trying to vibe with it a little more, and I want to vibe with it because GG Aleste 3 looks so pretty. That's the new homebrew Game Gear Aleste game made by M3. Who were they?
Oh,
it looks dope. But I went on Sega binge. I played Alex Kidd in Miracle World.
Why?
I like this game is cute, Rat. This game's nice. I like Alex Kidd in Miracle World. I played Alex Kidd in Shinobi World like 2 years ago and loved it. Mm-hmm. And then I kind of mushed through Miracle World with save states because I was like, oh, I don't have patience for this. Because it's a lot clunkier and weirder than Shinobi World, which was like 4 years later, so it makes sense. And then this time I just completely vibed with it for some reason. I was just like, yes, I am feeling Alex Kidd.
Just don't press up while you're swimming. You won't bump into the spikes.
Don't press up and then look up online what the jankin' solution is. Yeah. So that you don't have to fucking worry about that. Because the bosses are you play rock, paper, scissors. Yeah. You lose, you die. But there's a static way through that you can just do and it'll go through it every time.
It's funny, the Genesis one is the same way where like if you just mash the correct answer on like the first frame, it's always the same.
Oh, nice. So I actually played that and I finished it legit and it felt really nice. Cool. I like that. It's very tempting to compare it with like Mario, where Alex Kidd is just a lot more varied than Mario 1. It's got a lot more different. The screen scrolls in different directions. It has like an actual like final levels that you explore. It's really cool, and it feels like I feel like the era of platformers between Mario 1 and Mario 3 is like one of my favorite feeling sections of like just like
it's a lot of figuring shit out, and a lot of interesting ideas came from that.
Yeah. Like once you get to Mario 3 and like Kirby's Adventure and whatnot,
and things becomes more uniform, expected.
Yeah, and I fucking love Mario 3.
Oh yeah,
like, that's very much like, okay, we're kind of settling into that SNES groove. We figured this out.
Yeah.
But like Mario Land, Mario 2, Alex Kidd, Sonic 1. There's just a bunch of platformers in that kind of era that just make me really happy. Castle of Illusion.
I feel like I can't think of any right off the top of my head, but like the TurboGrafx probably has a ton of those.
Oh yeah,
just a little bit off platformers.
I mean, like JJ and Jeff, Adventure Island, Bonk. Like those are weird, interesting things.
JJ and Jeff is so weird.
Yeah, that game.
It's like a super early like idea of a comedy game, but it's also really hard.
Yeah, it's super fucking hard. I was banging my head against that because I got that TurboGrafx Mini, and it's just like, man, that game is really brutal.
That's cute. I didn't play a TurboGrafx game because I kept on my Master System journey.
Oh, good.
I played all of Sonic 1 on Master System, which I'd never played before.
Oh.
What are you going on about? This game rules.
Man,
I haven't played this one. I just know Sonic 2 on Master System is fucking trash.
Yeah, 2 is irredeemable garbage. I think the first one is okay.
They're completely different devs, for the record.
Yeah.
2 is by Aspect, and I don't give a shit about 2 because I played Triple Trouble on Game Gear, and that game sucked. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm good on Aspect. And they made all of the 8-bit ones besides Sonic 1.
Oh, really? So that's they did a good job on Sonic 1, so they never got to work on it again.
I think the Sonic 1 devs were the it was Ancient.
Yeah, they went on to go do their own shit.
Yeah, it's the Yuzo Koshiro. They went on to do like Beyond Oasis.
Beyond Oasis.
They helped on Streets of Rage 2 and 3.
Yeah.
It's just funny
It's
to me because I had Sonic 2 and Triple Trouble as a kid and was like, these ain't very good.
No,
And so, of course,
they're pretty
the one
bad.
that might be passable never picked up Sonic 1.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I really like Master System Sonic 1 because it's
Okay.
like the thing I love about Sonic 1 Genesis is that it came out before like Sonic 2 came out and then solidified, just calcified in amber what a 2D Sonic game is for everyone until the end of time. Because after that, they all feel like that. That is what they are riffing on, is Sonic 2 levels.
Yeah.
You play Sonic Rush, play Sonic Advance, play most of Sonic 3 and Knuckles.
It's like every Mario game now is grassland, desert-land, waterland.
Oh my! I mean, the fact that Nintendo has no fucking imagination is on them.
Yeah.
Mario games could be interesting; they're just not.
Yes,
Yeah.
they were consistently interesting for like 15 years. But yeah, I played this, and this is the same thing where it's not like a Sonic game, it's just a platformer with a lot of momentum. There's like some loop-de-loops, but then like the levels are even more like kind of varied and gimmicky sometimes than like than Genesis one. Like there's an auto scroller level in this one.
Oh yeah.
There's a completely vertical level with Kid Icarus style scrolling, where like every time you go up, then the death barrier comes up. And then it has like a pretty dope last couple levels. You can see them doing a kind of a dry run for Sonic 2's climax, because you do Scrap Brain, and then you do like there's an airship, and a whole airship world. And it's pretty dope. Yeah, bro? Yeah? Ooh. Coca-Cola kit for Game Gear. Duly noted. Damn, I went one day. See, this is so I really like this. And I played one Game Gear game, and then I posted in multiple channels. I said, well, that was the only other Game Gear game I wanted to play. I guess I'm done with the Game Gear. And the thing is, when I expected that was bait for people to say, for people to be like, no, John, you should play this Game Gear game. What are you talking about? You can't be done with the Game Gear. And crickets. Nobody piped up with, actually, John, you should play Royal Stone. I don't know. Whatever the fuck. Play Game Gear Shinobi. Whatever the fuck.
See,
John,
the
come
thing
on.
is, I just typically don't tell people to play Game Gear games, because my only experience with the Game Gear, in terms of owning one, was I found one in a desk in 7th grade, and I never found the owner for it, so I took it home, and it did not work.
Oh, jeez.
So that's my experience with the Game Gear, is I have somebody's Game Gear that they left at school, and it didn't work. So
I had a Game Gear as a kid. I somehow had Sonic 1, Sonic 2, Game Gear Shinobi, Game Gear Shinobi 2, Jurassic
Jeez.
Park,
Man,
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, I think. There's like a fighting game.
I had a friend in 6th grade. Motherfucker had the TV tuner. He brought that shit to school, and I was just like, my mind was. You had to peel it off the fucking wall. Yeah, there was a Game Gear TV tuner.
I had the
TurboGrafx.
wall charger, so that I would never, because my mom would not.
Because your mom would not go.
You have to plug it in,
Yeah.
because otherwise we will not buy batteries for this.
Okay, because I had the TurboGrafx TV tuner.
Oh, nice.
Ooh.
And I remember like it actually worked fairly well on like car trips.
That's pretty cool.
But yeah, I thought that was funny because I went one day without having to add another Game Gear thing.
My favorite Game Gear game was just Bubble Bobble, and it's just, hey, just play the NES version.
Yeah.
Like
That's
it's
the
just
thing,
the
is that they're
same
all
thing. It's
almost
just-
all worse versions of Master System. Like all those Sonic games are just Master System games with worse resolutions.
Yeah.
You can't see
Like-
the enemies coming.
Like Streets of Rage, they cut out a character, they cut out 2 stages. Like, it's just they're just worse Master System games.
Yeah.
Are there any like exclusives?
I mean, there's one. I played it. This is my last thing for the week.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
I played Sylvan Tale.
Oh, hey.
So this is a Sega-developed original. It is a top-down action RPG. I like those.
Oh, hey.
It's very pretty. It has an extremely evocative title screen music, and it's Japan only.
Oh.
So this is like catnip for my brain. I've known about this game for like 5 years, and I'm just like, oh, but that's so fucking good. I bet the game's so fucking good. I'm so fucking excited to play Sylvan Tale. I'm so fucking excited. This game's gonna be so fucking good.
No.
Oh my god, I'm so horny for this. Oh my god. And I posted the title screen music in the chat.
Good.
So this is I had like a meltdown after I finished this game. Because it's
right.
yeah.
I saw these tweets of just Zelda rage basically.
Because this game is just it's fucking Zelda.
Yeah.
It's just fucking Zelda. It's fucking Zelda. It's fucking Zelda.
Yeah, it's just Zelda.
It's just fucking Zelda. There's no story. You're not playing it for that. You're playing it to collect 6 droplets that make up one of the 3 pieces of the thingamabobber. You get the 3 gems. There's something that come together at the end.
The Tri-Gem.
The Tri-Gem. To fight to beat a non-specific enemy. There's a legendary tree. Some little mana energy too. There is this is a completely original IP, completely original world. It feels the most like played out, dry. We are doing Zelda thing that you could imagine is how it felt to me. The only thing that I liked was that it the dungeons aren't as like rigid as Zelda. Like there's one dungeon that is just one long room. It's one very long room with like all the puzzles take place in two tile wide corridor, which I thought was really neat. There's another dungeon that is one puzzle. So like the structure is weirder and less like rigid than something like Zelda. There's no maps also for the dungeons too, so exploring them is a little. There's a nice flavor to actually having to learn the layouts.
Yeah.
But like I figured out the action pretty fast. You're not playing it for the story. It's pretty. What are you playing this for? It's so that you can wander around the overworld trying to figure out what the game expects you to do next.
Oh boy, find those adventure game plot points and get those triggers going.
Because you can walk around a bunch of places, but there's only ever one thing to do next, and if you don't figure out how to do that one thing, then you won't have the tools you won't have the magic form to progress along any of the other ways. So,
Ellie, what was? This is how I felt about Faerun.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
That's why I've had a meltdown, because I was playing this and I was like, I love Faerun. Why do I hate this?
Yeah. This
is it bigger? Because like if the area,
it's just bigger and there's more shit. Because Faerun is just like there's no action. There's next to nothing. It's literally just wander around figuring out the event flag, and it's small.
Just the triggers.
And like it's like, okay, I can appreciate that. But this, I wasn't here for that. I was here to play like a top-down action adventure game, and it was just that. But with like a bunch, you have like 6 forms you transform into. You collect a bunch of items that do shit. So at any given point, if there's like a rock blocking your path, then it's like, okay, let me transform into the mole form. And then maybe I can break the rock with my mole form. And you try doing that, and that doesn't work. Anyway, let me go into the turtle form, because I know if I do the charged turtle attack, that breaks some different rocks. No, that doesn't do it. Okay. Well, let me try this item. Let me equip this floating rune I found earlier. Like, you have 15 verbs, and at any given point, the solution is just figure out what verb goes onto this one thing. I got through a whole ass dungeon, and then I got to the end, and I didn't. But then you can also get to the end of the dungeon, and there'll be a puzzle, and then you don't have the verb because it's somewhere else in the overworld. So you just are like,
okay, that sounds pretty bad.
bad.
So I'm like, I don't know what to do here. I tried every single thing that I had, and it didn't do the trick. And then it turns out I had to go elsewhere and then get the mouse form. But I didn't think, oh yeah, that puzzle is obviously something I would fix by having the mouse form. So I didn't think to go back there and check again now that I had the new form. And then that was when I finally looked at the guide, and then I guided through the rest of it, and it was miserable.
Do you know roughly when this came out?
1995.
Oh, God, that's bad.
Well, that's the thing. It feels like post Link's Awakening.
Like, this would feel like this would probably be acceptable in like 1989, 1991.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Maybe.
Like the whole animal transformation was making me think of Dragon's
Yeah.
The Wonder Boy one.
Dragon's Trap.
Yeah,
that's the one. Where it's like that has a lot of kind of obtuse things, but not nearly to what this sounds like. But 95, like this sounds like we are still figuring out shit 80s.
It's not that. That's the thing. This is not that. This is fucking. We have figured this out. We know what a Zelda game looks like. We're going to do that, and we're gonna do. And there's gonna be nothing else but figuring out weird event flags bullshit. It's gonna be completely linear, but we're gonna pretend it's not. It's Oracle. It's the Oracle games. It frustrated me the exact same way Oracle of Seasons did, which that was like a 2001 game, and it sucked the same way.
Yep.
I feel though like getting into a dungeon and not actually having the thing you need to beat it is like a lesson that was learned prior to this.
Yeah, like it was a lesson that was learned in literally any Zelda game released since like 1988.
Yeah.
Well, the dungeons are really small, and a lot of them are like half overworld, so the line is a lot less clear than you would have with something like Oracle. I still feel like Oracle of Seasons is worse because it's all of this, and then also you fucking are collecting pieces of heart and the fucking seeds for rings. So you'll go through a whole bullshit puzzle, and then you'll get a seed that you can plant, and then get a useless ring.
Yay!
So I hate Oracle of Seasons more. Also, it's longer.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So I just had a fucking meltdown that is literally just, I don't like Zelda games right now. Which makes me a little sad. I'm like, because I don't like to just turn my heart off to things, but I'm like, I don't like this kind of game right now. And Polly, I really want to like Alundra. Is Alundra like this?
Oh, man. As much as I like Alundra, it is literally just, we are a prettier Zelda with a different vibe.
Oh, that's what I was afraid to hear.
Don't go into Alundra if you're looking for something different right now. I think Alundra is a good example of this, but it's also just that. Like, it's not that ambitious.
Yeah, it's probably, I was thinking about Link's Awakening, because that game kind of annoys me, but I appreciate it, because it's like, it's mostly pretty clear about the rules.
Yeah. And it's a Game Boy game, and you're not allowed to dislike Game Boy games. Yeah,
and the overworld stuff is like generally pretty clean, and it makes sense. It's Link's Awakening is good. I can say that. So I once I'm back in the mood for something like that, then I'll at least be able to try out Alundra at least, and that'll be my next Zelda game. That or Okami.
I think Okami might be the better pick, but that's just me.
I mean, Okami's a Kamiya, so that'll be fun.
So, like, that's got more of a hook,
but
I think.
But it is very much a 3D Zelda game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is that.
Oh, yeah. So, someday, my heart will be open to Zelda again, and then I'll play Alundra and Okami and not another Zelda game. Because what is left? Yeah. What, am I going to play Oracle of Ages? No.
Breath of the Wild 2.
Like if I am going to touch a Zelda game at all, if I'm going to be forced to do it, or if I'm going to be convinced, the only way I would look at is Breath of the Wild. Just because it's such a
John already played that one though, so it is kind of off the table.
It is completely different. Yeah. It's not the same. It's obviously not the same thing. That one made me sad in a different way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one doesn't have the fucking trigger shit where it's just like, hey, the whole thing's open right away. Like it is such a rejection of that old style.
Yeah, exactly. It's literally the thing that made me sad. It was like, oh, okay, so you're a AAA open world game now.
Yeah.
Obviously, Rhett pointed out a bunch of things that it does that are special and nice, and it is very pretty. But yeah, so that was my Master System journey ended kind of pittily, where I was like, I really liked Alex Kidd, I really liked Sonic 1. They got me to make a cute platformer prototype. I was like, I want to channel this energy.
Pow! Pow! Pow!
And then I ended up playing Silventail.
It's my favorite sound effect.
Oh, thank you. And then I played Silventail, and I was like, okay, done with old short games for a bit. And that was all of my updates.
Good.
Brett.
Good haul.
Well, no Trails 0.
I mean, I'm still playing Trails.
I know.
Playing it. He just did not play it in the last few weeks. So
yeah, no, I did. I will. I have enough shit.
Yeah.
I inflict enough of my bullshit on y'all.
Good point. That's a good point.
that I need to trim where I can, and I know I'm gonna do my Trail 0.
I feel like inflict. I feel like inflict is the proper language to be using anytime you get to talk on the podcast. Yes.
Especially on a Kingdom Hearts episode.
That was the conclusion of the trilogy. I feel like
I gave you Fate.
You earned that, but you inflicted it on us.
I gave you Fate and Kingdom Hearts, and you got an hour for both.
Thank you. I love you both. Red, what else have you been up to?
So I'll make this easy. Nothing.
Oh damn.
Oh okay.
So I will tell very quick stories. So you know how on Twitter.com, if you refresh the main page, they'll just recommend stuff instead of actually showing your fucking timeline.
Yeah.
So like every once in a while, it's like, hey, Love Life, follow this topic. No. But this one just popped up and it's fucking killing me.
Oh no.
The topic it wants me to follow is horse racing and equestrian. And the tweet attached to it is a fucking Uma Musume girl. Like, Twitter is just confused thinking these are...
Twitter's done, man!
That's funny. That's very funny.
That's real good.
Okay, so I actually clicked the topic and it's all actual horse racing. I was hoping there would be a bunch of anime girls.
I was waiting for that.
But the one it recommended... The Trove.
Yeah, the hidden treasure trove of rice shower images that are really good and classy.
I mean, I send you all the ones I found.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
So, I haven't even played Isaac in a week. Like, I've just been picking away at Trails of Zero.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's like, there's so much other stuff I want to play, but I don't want to do the John thing of just, like, having 5 spinning plates at once.
Yeah, I can't do that. Like,
It's really nice to be back to just Trails.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to start another long thing.
Like, it is especially when I'm playing a Trails game, I literally want my attention on nothing else.
Like, I remember last year I started the Outer Wilds and Trails 0 at the same time, thinking I could bounce both. Whoops. I still haven't played Outer Wilds.
Me neither. Which is a shame because it looks great.
Yeah, like, that is a game that I want to play at some point.
I mean, maybe that'll be the next game I play, but who knows? I keep acquiring games without even having to buy them. Like, there's something on PlayStation Plus this month.
They just kind of start falling in your lap at some point. Games have no fucking value now.
You subscribe to PlayStation Plus and, like, the humble thing, and it's like, okay, games just appear.
Yeah.
And I go, I want to play that, and then you never do.
Yeah, and you never do. Yeah, like, Eichenfeld, gonna show up in your library, you're not gonna play it.
I just warned you, hey, this is gonna show up in your library in a day, and you're never gonna play it.
Yep.
But now you don't have to buy it and then not ever.
There you go. Like, that's less of a burden on me this time. Less to think about. Less guilt.
It's weird because I feel like once you buy a game, then you're going to play it because there's more of that investment.
Yeah, you have to.
Oh, that's not the case for me.
I know. Oh, believe me, I definitely have a bunch of games that I bought and never played. But there's definitely more of an incentive there. I don't know.
No,
so I got nothing else. Polly.
All right. I guess I'll be closing.
Take us home.
I'll take us home. I have actually played a video game. I know that probably sounds weird, seeing as for the last 2 months, that is the last thing that I have wanted to do at all. So all I've brought to the podcast for 2 months was just anime shenanigans. But we finally pulled out. We finally pulled one out. We pulled out as well. Don't want to get pregnant. We finally got a video game that I wanted to play, and it's an old video game. It's a video game that I started playing back. God, let's see. When was the last time I tried? I probably tried to get back into this game maybe 4-ish years ago. I got to a certain point, and then I had that Mary Skelter moment of, oh man, I'm not playing this right. I don't know what to do next. Fuck it, I'm done. But
this is a game where that can happen, I think.
It's a game where you can overthink that kind of thing, and then when you go back to it a few years later, you go, man, I was being an idiot. I just didn't. You know what? You just got to trust the video game sometime. I am currently in the middle of basically finishing the new Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne HD remake. I feel like this is like an HD / port / re-release. Like it's the third Shin Megami Tensei game. I think it's a game that's like, I think that this game's weirdly notorious because it's got a reputation as this super hard game that kind of overshadows any actual discussion about it. So
yeah, that's always obnoxious.
When I hear people talk about this game, literally the only thing they talk about is the difficulty, and I feel that they're overstating it a lot of the time now, having played about 95% of the game now. But anyway, the Shin Megami Tensei 3 HD Remaster, this is like a weird, low-effort re-release. I'm going to hit you with all this stuff up front, because I think that this is worth mentioning up front.
Because I've been kind of confused, because it's like, this is the game that got you back into playing video games after like 2 months.
Yeah.
But also you keep going, this port isn't worth it, don't buy it.
I hesitate to call it like a remaster or a remake, because you don't get the feeling that much was done to earn the remaster tag is the thing. Like, there's a couple of quality of life changes, and you can technically play every version of the game that was released because there were 3 of them. But if you're going to play this game, and this is the only way that you have to play it, I'd honestly wait for some kind of sale. That's just my opinion on the remaster. It's got nothing to do with like frame rate, resolution. Like, I just don't give any kinds of a shit about any of that garbage. But like, when you look at this game's remaster versus what other remasters and remakes have done to like modernize or at least add value to the product they're putting out, Nocturne Remastered is probably like the least amount of effort I've ever seen put into one of these. And no, I don't give a shit that this was made in Unity. It still looks and feels fine. But like, considering considering the fact that like this remake is for the base game itself is $50. And that only gets you the Chronicle Edition, which is the version with Raido Kuzunoha from Devil Summoner. You have to pay $10 extra to get the Maniacs version, which is the version with Dante. And the PC is the only version where you get the original release of the game that didn't even have like the Fiends, the bonus characters, or the Amala Labyrinth. So, and when you consider that to get to get this game and all of its DLC is $70.
Yeah, I feel like remasters coming with all the DLC is like
that should be a
standard.
Given. That should be a given.
Like, I'm pretty sure the Mass Effect thing that just came out is everything, all 3 games and their DLC for like $50 or whatever.
Yep,
maybe 60.
This
so,
is
like, again, yeah.
This is one game where they are selling you. Like, the original PS2 version that was released here was the Dante version. That was the Maniacs edition. And also, like, this game does a terrible job at explaining what its versions are. So if you pick this game up on the PC, do not choose New Game, choose New Game Chronicle. However, on the PS4 version, you just choose New Game, and that's the Chronicle version.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so New Game on the PC version is Shin Megami Tensei 3. Just as bare bones as it was released originally. And then there's Maniacs, which is the version we got with Dante. And then there's Chronicle, which is the Raido Kuzunoha version. So choose either Maniacs or Chronicle if you are playing the PC version, or you will be getting the shortened version of the game. And I mention this because if you go to the Steam forums, like
God.
40 to 50% of the topics are, where are the fiends at? I never ran into Matador. Like, well, guess what? You get to play 20 hours a game again.
Oh my god. I can't imagine like getting significantly far in and realizing you fucked up.
Yeah, and like the title screen does nothing to explain the different versions or anything. There's no like, this version is like the same game, but it's also got Dante as a secret character, as a character that is part of the story, or this version has this. It doesn't explain them in any way. It just like, start new game with the Chronicles DLC. And when you think DLC, sometimes people think that's extra content, that's post-game stuff. I don't want to do that right now. So when you jump into the new game on the PC version and you just do boring-ass new game, whoops, that's just Shin Megami Tensei 3.
But they only did the Chronicles version on console?
No, they did the Chronicles version on all of them, but the console versions do not have the original release.
That's weird.
Which is Japan only.
Yeah, I think that was done because the DLC has a bunch of skeletons for bosses, and in China that's a no-no. So I think.
Oh my god.
So I think that if you were to go buy this game on the Chinese store, you get a version that only has just new game. Like there is no Maniacs or Chronicle version. It's very weird. But, so, to get that, plus all the helper DLC and stuff, is $70. I want you to stop and think about that for a moment and consider that Persona 4 Golden and Catherine are both $19.99 and launched at $19.99.
Oh, that's so weird. It's like they know that this is like the one for nerds.
Yeah,
who will buy more.
Yeah, and I am that nerd that bought it. I sad bought the video game because I was not in a great mood, and I was like, fine, I found a copy on Fanatical that had all the DLC, and I only paid $53 instead of $70 for it.
It was obviously the right call.
That was the right call for me. And
yep.
Again, this is me holding an L because I willingly bought a port that is low effort. I overpaid. This is on me. But I implore you that if you want to play this game, please wait for a sale. If you can't play the PS2 version, just wait for a sale. One will happen, I promise you.
Going over $60 is really egregious for a PS2 remaster.
Especially for how freaking just bare bones this is. The only thing this added was there's a suspend a save feature where you can save anywhere, and then when you load the save, it deletes. Who cares? And then there's they added a step to fusion where when you fuse a demon, it would normally just give you random abilities and you'd have to back out of the menu and dive back into the menu to re-roll the abilities. Now you can just press a button to select what abilities you want to inherit, and that saves so much time because there's nothing fun about that. It's just tedious and boring stupid shit that doesn't need to be there. So fine, that's a good quality of life improvement. Great job. Appreciate that.
Is that like the one?
That's the one, basically.
Jesus.
Like that, like if they put effort into anything, that is the one thing they put in that, but they put in the effort for is that. And it is a big quality of life improvement. So, my opinion on this thing as a whole is just like, it's not a great remaster. It's not a great port. Wait for a sale. But what about the game? What about the game? Where even you have a crummy, overpriced remaster, a very good video game is going to shine, and that's what's going on here. Is
this good, or is it just really, really hard?
This is really,
that the only thing about it is that it's very hard?
I'll get to you in a second on that. Let's take it from the top because there's a lot of things that I'd like to talk about with this game because I think that I think right out of the gate, Nocturne is probably one of my favorite video game openings ever. Like,
Mhm.
it's such a good, tense build-up to the kind of catastrophe that you know that is coming. Like, you get to name all of these characters, and then they're your friends, and then the fucking world ends!
Mhm.
And then all of that, like, and then the way all of that comes back, and you've named all of your friends these characters, and the way you have to deal with that later, it's just real juicy shit.
Good.
But like in this opening, like everything about the world feels so it's like it's already weird and suffocating and just generally like weird and off. And then like actual catastrophe happens and like those feelings like it becomes more oppressive. The environment like it gets way more dangerous. And like the game like it's a game that's like it's dwelling in an almost like nihilistic post-apocalyptic mire, but it's not like a game or a story that laments that idea. The general idea of, I mean, I guess I would say it's kill or be killed, kid. And that's kind of just the new way of the world now, and like sort of the way they tell their story around that, and sort of the recreation of the world has a lot of real good change and stakes happening. Something that I also feel is a bit unusual for JRPGs, especially coming out at about this time, is it's got a very small cast of characters that are given speaking lines, and they're all going through their own stories. And this is not a story that really dabbles much in like over the top drama or characters getting, you know, these big like persona-like moments. This is not a story that dwells on that. It's focused more on this big picture and telling like the big world-changing story that has like real change and consequences and stakes, and all that is sort of plays out as it's drip-fed to you between all of the dungeon crawling, and it really feels like the perfect story for this game that was trying to tell. And like I guess I really admire how snappy, straightforward, but also super important. Like anytime the game stops to give you a morsel of story, it feels impactful. Even though it's just giving you these small 2 to 5 minute cutscenes of characters kind of going back and forth about like the ways that they want to reshape the world in their image and shit like that. It's like it's all impactful and means something. So like when the game takes its time to like stop for a moment and talk to you, you know it's not wasting its time to do that.
I just love that. I just love that kind of like where the focus here. We've got this really good, cool dungeon crawler game, and then we're gonna tell this cool story just like around the margins of that.
Yeah,
like we're gonna and make every bit of deliberate storytelling we're doing as evocative and useful and functional as we can.
Yeah,
I love that.
When this game stops to put up a cutscene, like I literally just put the controller down and like, oh, okay, we're here. Like we're getting into the thick of shit, and it's really really cool. It always feels super important. I also got to give a shout out to the voice acting. This game did not originally have voice acting. And it's interesting to me because I played through about half of this game without the voice acting, and the game's just got real great sound design. It's like immersing you in this really dark, kind of twisted, and just very tense world with just its sound alone. And the voice acting initially put me off because I was already used to this game feeling and sounding a certain way. But the voice acting is also very effing good. So it's adding a whole different kind of flavor. It's not the flavor that I prefer for this game, but it makes it feel very different in a way that I was not expecting. Like, I can't think of many instances where I've played a game without voice acting and then played it with voice acting years later, and it kind of just be like, this kind of makes things feel real different. And interesting, and so like it's kind of two interesting flavors there. If you like, because you can turn the voices off if you want, and it'll kind of get you back to how the game felt originally.
Bare bone, more bare classic style.
Yeah, and I've kind of like I've dabbled with both over the course of my playthrough, and I've found that like and even gone back and compared some scenes, like just go back and run the scene again, but with voice acting, it's like, oh, like these people really sound like they care about this script, and they're really making these characters shine in a way that, despite the fact that there's not a lot of emotional attachment to them, the way that they're sort of presenting their side of things and the way that they're interacting with you and their reasons for doing the things they're doing really, really come across. So that's really, really good shit. So yeah, like I think most people will probably want to play it with voice acting, and I don't think that that's the wrong. I don't think there's any wrong way to approach it. Like, if you want to play it with voice acting or you want to play it without, that's fine. I kind of just prefer it without, because I think the sound design kind of makes the world work a little better for me. But what about the important part? The part where everybody talks about the game being too hard and it's the most insurmountable thing ever. It's just, it's dungeon crawling.
Dungeon crawler.
It's
dungeon crawler.
It's dungeon crawling. It's demon recruiting. It's demon fusing. You're putting together your own little army to slay gods, basically. And yeah, this is supposedly the hardest JRPG ever, and I will admit that it is a harder RPG. It is in no way insurmountable or as impossible or inscrutable as people make it sound. And maybe that's just my own. Maybe that's my own experience talking. Because I've played Persona 3, 4, and 5. I've played Digital Devil Saga 1 and 2. Maybe that's just me. I've played Shin Megami
many other dungeon and Etrian Odyssey and Etrian Odyssey
and Shin Megami Tensei Strange Journey. Okay, maybe
Labyrinth of Toho 2.
Yeah, Labyrinth of Toho 2. Maybe I've got a little more experience. I don't think that there's anything in this game that you can
listen. We got a certified badass here. It's fine.
It's true. You are a certified dungeon crawler expert and aficionado and connoisseur. But that doesn't mean that you can't detect if something is impossible or bad or not.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think that there is a way to play this game and be terribly bad at it and not be able to learn how to correct your mistakes. Yes, you are strained for resources for a lot of this game, and that just makes sense in a post-apocalyptic setting. You're gonna have to chew through items that you're probably trying to save for the end of the game if you want to live. You're gonna have to make tough fusing decisions because you have to rebuy your demons, and they're expensive if you fuse them away. It can put you a little on edge. I understand that. The boss fights. There's some boss fights that I feel maybe a little more puzzly than others, but I didn't feel that they were insurmountable or you couldn't figure out what was going on. The legitimate one difficulty spike I found with this game, and I think that is the most, and you've heard about it already. All I gotta do is say Matador and you know what I'm talking about. There are literally hundreds of guides if you are stuck on Matador, and it is not hard to get over that. And even then, once you get past him, I've not really seen anything that, unless it's super puzzly, there's, one boss fight you have to fight on a full moon, because you can't see its shadow. That's the only...
Oh. And then if you're Polly, you have to update your graphics video card to see the shadow?
Yeah, that was a real fun thing to run into late at night, was not being able to see that shadow during the fight, because my graphics driver needed updated.
I feel like I've had this arc already because I played Strange Journey, but I also played SMT4, and the first 10 hours of that game, it's a very tense, high stakes dungeon crawl, and then at the very end of it is just a really, really fucking hard fight, the Minotaur.
Yeah,
and I was oh, this is really hard. I tried it a few times, and then I fiddled with my fusions, and I grinded a little bit, and I fiddled with the fusions some more, and then I fought him again, and then I barely won at the skin of my teeth, and I was that felt really good. That was really fun.
Yeah, and it's just I feel that maybe there are a few bosses where you've got to adjust your loadout, or you've got to dive balls deep into fusing and just reconfigure your whole team. But I never felt at any point that when I had to do that the decisions that I made locked me into something where I would never be able to recover from, or that it hurt me in the long run. I've literally had to stop a few times and be okay, this boss is beating my ass, and I just don't, I need stronger demons. The thing that you've got to get over in Shin Megami Tensei is getting attached to demons, I think. I think that that's what a lot of people do, because when I see a lot of people play these games, their main character will be like level 60, but their demons will be like 20 levels behind. And the thing you've got to learn, the thing you've got to remember about Shin Megami Tensei is demons are expendable.
This isn't Pokemon.
Yeah, like you are meant to be tossing these things into fusions like every 5 or 10 levels, because the new demons that you fuse not only inherit the skills that you're going to pass down, they also come stacked with those newer, higher level skills that you'll need to make your fights easier going forward. So,
I think a lot of people are just not used to like actual dungeon crawlers or game, or like this is a game, like you said, the story is told around the margins. The meat of the game is these dungeons. So like this is one, like you can play a lot of RPGs and have the fighting be never see a game over screen. Have the fighting just be like candy for your brain filler. And then you get to the next story, and that's what you're actually there for.
Yeah.
If this was like that, it would be shitty because there's very little story.
Yeah.
So the fighting has to be really meaty and make you think, and you need to have game overs sometimes.
Yeah. Like,
and then try things in a different way.
As mean as this game is, as people say that it is, getting as deep as I have, I expected to have a death count way higher than I do. And a lot of the deaths have been my own stupid fault. Getting petrified and thinking, nah, these enemies, I will be able to take these enemies out before they get a chance to attack my main character. Oops. Oh no, I'm dead.
I feel like with you, like the big thing that makes you mad or like gets you saying stuff is like when something is communicating really poorly.
Yeah.
And it sounds like just across the board, even when things are hard, it's being very clear about what its expectations are, what the rules are. Like the thing I was complaining about earlier was like where every puzzle was me not understanding the rules of the scene and me getting frustrated because of that. This is just, it's demanding, but it's pretty clear.
Yeah. And like the only thing that I really have an issue with this game, and this is Shin Megami Tensei on the whole. It just runs in Shin Megami Tensei DNA, is when the dungeon designers run out of ideas or cool gimmicks for a dungeon. They resort to good old fashioned, basically just gimmicks that make you lose progress and have to backtrack for 2 minutes. Because how would I know that there's a hole there when the floor on the ground around me is all solid and I just fall through a hole 10 floors down? Like, that shit, it always feels shitty. I don't care if it's my favorite game ever. Like, that's always going to be a shitty dungeon design for me. Like, or door mazes, teleporter mazes.
Teleporters.
Like, it's literally just, there's an entire fucking dungeon dedicated to nothing but teleporter mazes, and like for 2 parts of it, it's kind of clever because you can climb a tower and you can see where you're not supposed to go, and then you have to go back to that area and put it like into perspective about you were looking at it from the west. Okay, so you need to orient your view orient your view to the west, and you will get out of here if you just follow the directions that you observed. And then, in the final part of that, they just take away your ability to see that for no reason. So then it becomes a shitty guessing game of just walk into this teleporter. Oh, no, wrong one. Go back. And that's shitty. That's shitty design.
But that's just like ingrained wizardry.
Yeah.
Like in the DNA in the dungeon crawler.
Yeah, like that is dungeon. Like
you
will probably find that kind of crap in any dungeon crawler you play. Unfortunately, like it's just but I just think that like there's nothing interesting or fun about that. It's a large part of the reason of why I quit DDS too. Is that it's just like all the dungeons. Like I did 3 dungeons in a row that were that, and I was like, okay, this is enough. But
Is the idea that you're supposed to be mapping it out on paper and it's harder when it's teleporters?
No, because you've got an auto map.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so maybe it makes sense in classic dungeon crawlers where it is a puzzle.
Yeah, but now it's just a guessing game, and a lot of the times you don't even know the teleports are going to happen. Like there was one where it's just literally like I walked through a door and I am immediately teleported to just random nonsensical places, and it's like, this isn't fun or interesting. This is just literally I have to guess and keep guessing wrong until I find a correct path. And And when it's like a 10-second animation for me to teleport out and then back in, and they're also throwing random encounters at you, you get real frustrated. So the game is not immune. It does that a few times. But so far, the final dungeon has been a really nice kind of meaty set of puzzles and challenges where like it's actually kind of like it's communicating itself properly and what you have to do, where it's just like, you know, simple navigation, like move these blocks up and down so that you have a bridge or you can go under them, things like that. Like, okay, that's fine. I can deal with that as a good dungeon design. But when you resort to shitty fucking teleporter mazes and doors, it's just like, yeah, that's not fun. That's the least amount of fun anybody could have with a video game, is just losing progress. Like, and that's just the whole point. It's just like, go lose progress for 2 minutes. Like, that's not fun. That's nothing interesting about that. If you want to do a teleporter maze, and like, this game actually has instances where it does this, where it will have a teleporter maze, but it's contextualized and there's logic behind it. And you know why things are behaving the way they are, so you can figure a way out. But when it's just literal, guess it. Fuck off. I hate this. I will guide the shit out of this.
Love. My favorite was when you searched the rest of the guide to make sure the word teleporter didn't show up again.
Yep. And then I also looked for the word warp just to make sure that they weren't clever and used another term.
It's very funny.
But just to kind of wrap all this up, like, the bottom line is, like, I think that, like, Nocturne, like, all these years later, is still, like, incredibly resonant. Its atmosphere and world, like, are still just, like, really fucking cool and striking. Like, I still love the visual style, everything about it, and the systems still feel flexible and fun enough that it's not, like, I don't think that there's just, like, one right way to play the game, even though, like, everybody will tell you there's only one way to play this game. Maybe some things are balanced, you know, to be more powerful than others, but I don't think that you have to fucking play the game that way in order to finish it. Like, that would be stupid. And like the other goalpost people, the other goalpost people will do is that, like, oh, well, you're playing it on normal, you should play it on hard. And like, dude, hard is literally just you take double damage and everything costs 3 times the amount that it would normally cost. Like, that is literally the worst type of hard mode you could conceive. It is the laziest, shittiest fucking hard mode. Get out of my face. Because that was a thing that I saw, like when people, like, when this came out and people started streaming it, there were just, every stream that I looked at, somebody would pop in like, why aren't you playing on hard? Because I fucking value my free time? Because I want to actually have fun with the video game?
That's such a big 50% more damage.
50% more damage. Just straight up. Like, it's not even like stat based. It's just, here's the damage formula. It's just doubled. It's doubled when it comes to you taking damage.
That either sounds like impossible or just completely miserable.
It's misery. And the fact that everything in shops costs 3 times the amount. That includes the demon compendium, when you have to rebuy your demons after you fuse them away. And those things are not cheap. Like, the most amount of money I've had in this game, it was 200,000 Maka. And that's just because I found 2 chests in a fucking optional dungeon that each had 100,000 Maka in them. So yeah, like, fuck out of here if you want people to play this on hard. I don't think anybody should play this on hard if you're trying to actually enjoy yourself. It just sounds like utter misery to try and slog through this game, taking double damage. Oh, and you can't run away from battles. Even with instant run abilities that let you run away, they just disable it.
Ouch.
So you are forced to fight every encounter this game throws at you, and sometimes it will be a dick and just throw an encounter at you one step later. So, like, yeah, people that want you to play this game.
It's goalpost moving.
Yeah,
it's gamer bullshit.
Yeah. And there was another take that I saw of that, like, now that more people are playing Nocturne and discovering that, oh wait, it's not insurmountable. Well, it's not a real Shin Megami Tensei game like 1, 2, and 4. Like, excuse me? What is this fucking goalpost shit that keeps happening? Like, suddenly people are playing your little niche, obscure game, realizing, wait a minute, it's actually not the most difficult, inscrutable, and insurmountable video game ever. I can play it, and I'm doing very well at it. Uh-oh, suddenly you're not the hardcore gamer you wanted everybody to think you were anymore. Oh, no! Oh, God. Why are gamers like this? God! Ugh!
That's a very good question.
So, yeah. Like, I think that, like, the quality of life stuff does make this... It does make a big difference. Like just the ability to select what skills you want to inherit on your demons. It takes such a headache out of everything. Because when you're trying to re-roll as many as 4 skills on one demon, think about that. You have to go out of that, like when you were dealing with like a list of like 16 skills that can be inherited, and you just want 4. You want 4 specific ones. Like the most I ever did is I rolled my big final Persona and Persona 4. I spent 90 minutes re-rolling its skills to get the skills that I wanted. That is the only time. That's brutal. That is the only time I ever did that, and it was fucking Persona 4, a piss baby easy game. Why was I doing this?
And it's not like you don't pay money or anything to re-roll, do you?
No. You just back out of the menu. It's
just an RNG time sink.
Yeah.
That's rough.
So having that button that you could just press triangle or Y and just like go into a menu and be like, yeah, I want these 4 skills. It saves so much time. Like, it's absolutely, like, I think that is an absolutely worthwhile thing, and it's so it's such a bummer that it's behind such a, like a $50 fucking remake of this. Yeah, like, I love this game to pieces. I'm gonna probably finish it, and I'm, like, literally in the final dungeon. I fought, like, the first major boss there, and it was amazing.
Excellent.
I'm expecting a lot of really good, amazing boss fights in my future towards finishing this game.
Did you finish this one back in the day?
No, I got I got to
exciting.
a point. I got to a point where I think it was like the sisters fight in the obelisk. I think that's as far as I got, and I just felt like, oh great, I have to grind, and I just really didn't stop and think, no, I could probably just fuse my way out of this with some new demons. It's sort of the Mary Skelter thing, where it's just like, play a little more and trust the video game. It'll get you there, and that's what happened basically. Is that, okay, because I was dreading that fight of getting there. I was like, oh no. Here we go. Please don't roadblock me. And I literally just, I creamed it the first time I got there. I was like, oh, okay. Never mind. I'm just playing the video game good now.
You playing good.
But it's, this game, don't let people try to scare you away from what is, I think, probably one of the best PS2 RPGs out there. And it's just, it's such a shame that it's being kind of repackaged this way. But if this is the only way you can play it, by all means. Give it a go. If you were looking for a real solid, meaty dungeon crawly experience that you're gonna feel real accomplished when you do good. You might feel a little bit of defeat when you make dumb decisions like me and think that you're get a little full of yourself, feeling yourself a little bit. But this game, I don't think that it is nearly as mean as people make it out to be. I think that it's also just a super compelling narrative. It's got a great visual style going on.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe Shin Megami Tensei is good.
Yeah, turns out Shin Megami Tensei is pretty good. I've not played 4, and I can't get any consistent fucking thoughts on that game. Nobody,
you will never find them.
No, because I will talk to one person, they were like, yeah, it's so fucking good, and then, literally 10 seconds later, it's a fucking trash fire! So I ended up...
a sequel... That has a confusing name.
Yeah, Apocalypse, which is just it's the same way with Apocalypse. One person I know is just yes, this made SMT4 good. And then the other person is, it totally shit on everything good about SMT4.
I remember this game because it came up twice on the Game of the Decade list, and
Yeah.
I was just like, why? Apocalypse is a different game? What?
Yeah, it's real weird shit. So, like, I'm probably going to check out 4 at some point. I don't know when. But, yeah, I'll probably have to give it a look now. Because 5's coming out on November 11th.
Wait, what?
That got leaked. Yeah. Apparently November 11th is when SMT5 is coming out, and they're doing a global release for that.
Oh, how cool! I didn't know.
Yeah.
They were so tight-lipped about it.
Yeah, they've been tight-lipped ever since they announced it. Kind of the meme had sort of become that, like, oh, this is just literally never happening, basically.
Interesting. Cool. Well, I'm excited to see more of that. That's nice.
Yeah, like I hadn't been too excited about anything coming out, and it was just like my ears perked up when I saw, like, wait a minute, SMT5 is coming out this year? Huh. Okay. That's going to be right around Trails time if they announce another Trails localization. Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
Going to be pulled in so many directions, it might actually be a good time to like video games.
I feel like it's just, especially with the big RPG series, the ones that come out with an annual game, you just can't keep up with all of them.
I've done it so far with Trails, so...
But I mean, you can't keep up with all of them. You can have like the one or two you care about,
right?
but you can't play all the Atelier games. I'm sorry.
You know, like, it's so weird. Is that it's like I can't play Atelier 2 at all because it's already fucking out of print. So fuck off.
Ugh.
Much as I was actually super interested in looking at Ryza 2. Like, I was really, but now I literally can't find it anywhere for under $100. I'm like, well, fuck that. And I'm not going to be that person that only buys digital. So, and the PC versions of those games are apparently just real shit. So,
oh no, that's what I was gonna play. I'm trying to brute force it.
Yeah, but yeah, like SMT Nocturne.
I just mean like,
yeah.
There's just so many games coming out. It's just overwhelming.
Really? Because, like, I think the only things I'm looking forward to right now are obviously SMT5. I want to play Unmetal and Scarlet Nexus. That's coming out at the end of the month, but I don't think I'm going to get it. I don't think I'm going to get it day one, but...
I think it's, for me, it's like when something like Trails is like a month commitment, stuff starts piling up real quickly when you have a bunch of those extremely long game commitments.
Yeah.
Imagine if we played Final Fantasy 14.
Imagine.
I mean, yeah. Well, that's what Iffy does. She only plays Falcom in 14.
Like, she's living her best life.
Yes, it's beautiful.
I'm just saying that's the compromise you have to make, and it's not one me and John are willing to make, where we kind of want to play fucking everything.
Yeah. Like, I couldn't dedicate like that either to an MMO, honestly.
Yeah.
But to wrap things up,
works. I'm just like
to wrap things up. Yeah, like I like Nocturne a lot. Like this game's kind of it's given me everything I wanted narratively, gameplay wise. Like, you know, even despite the fact that like we had some struggles with some dungeons. We got a little angry. We had some Twitter thoughts. We got Twitter fingers. But Nocturne, like, despite the fact that this remaster / remake is really a bare bones, you can't hide the really amazing experience that's hiding underneath it at all. Like, it just shines too bright. It's too good of a video game to be ignored. And so if you get a chance,
I have one last question. Is this the one with the music fuckery and you had to download a mod?
So, yeah, another part of this being kind of a bad port, / remake, kind of maybe a little lazy, is that the PS2 version's music is very, very compressed. It kind of sounds bad. And they released it just the same for this remaster. They didn't change the music, despite the fact that they are using Unity and these assets could have been easily injected, which they were 3 hours after this port was released on Steam.
Fucking wild.
The fact that they did not work with cleaner audio, like, even that is something they could have done to have, like, taken a little bit of the oof out of, you know, paying what I paid for this. The fact that people like were able to inject those high quality music tracks in under 3 hours is just bonkers to me.
Wild.
Like, it's just, come on, y'all. Like, like apparently, like, the Catherine and Persona 4 ports were were really well done. Like, and like this game in particular is one that I feel that needed, it could have benefited from that kind of shine. It could have benefited from having a new coat of paint, having that high quality audio, having a few more bells and whistles. This is the game that I would want to have that. Like, this is like, look at what they did. Look at what Square did for Saga Frontier. It's fucking
that
wild.
feels like
loving.
The absolute like gold standard.
That's the gold
for
standard.
Good remasters.
That's called absolutely.
Saga Frontier.
Saga Frontier is the shining fucking example I have to make of. You need to show that you actually fucking care about the thing that you're putting out, and like, I don't get that from this, unfortunately. Despite the fact that it is a good fucking game that I'm just enjoying the hell out of. Like, the port itself is shameful.
The music,
like you have Sega behind
it's just,
you.
It runs and that's it.
Yeah, like we did it. Yeah, we got it to the finish line, everybody. We got it to the finish line,
Wow.
and that's about all
like,
we can
it
be
sounds
bothered.
It sounds like the essential goodness has not been
the
compromised.
essential.
It's
the
just like
could have been
goodness that you want beyond that.
Yeah, like there's obviously
because I guess if you're playing the console version, if you're playing the console one, you're not going to be able to download high quality music mod and shit like that.
No, yeah, like you're going to like, unless they ever patch that, which I don't see that ever happening. Like this game was apparently a fucking disaster when it launched in Japan, and they had to spend like 2 months patching it to get it to where it is now. Apparently the performance like on launch and crashes were just abysmal, and they actually managed to get it fixed. Like, I've not had a single crash or anything, so I guess that's at least good. It doesn't crash.
That's rough though. Performance issues on a PS2 game.
Yeah. It just, it's just kind of wild to me that a company with this much renown and with the kind of like with the power of Sega behind them couldn't do at least a little better.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm just glad that it sounds like I can play this instead of fiddling with the PS2
You
emulator.
will be 100% fine playing through this. I've played through the PC version entirely with no issues whatsoever.
Because with the PS2 emulator stuff, it's sort of like, what if I run into an issue 40 hours in?
Yeah.
That's the doom.
Yeah.
That's the death. That's the scary thing.
Also, this game
that scares me
also,
about actually wanting to play Xenoblade X.
I feel like this game's length is maybe overstated a lot. Like, I'm at the end of the game at 36 hours.
Oh, that's nice to hear.
And I did a shitload of the optional stuff. I did all of the Amala Labyrinth without doing the final boss because I'm not doing True Demon Ending. But I did finish all 5 Kalpas. So, and that's like probably 5 hours of extra content. So this game is actually a lot more breezy.
Nice. Oh, how nice. This is one of like 8 or 9 games that I've had like on a list to play since probably like 9th grade.
Oh no.
God.
Wow.
It's like this and Vagrant Story and like a couple others. I've just been like, yeah, I'm gonna play that at some point. Yeah, I'm gonna play that at some point. Someday. Valkyria Chronicles.
Yeah, you gotta play that.
Oh man.
That game's real good.
It's only been 12 years or so of wanting to. I will.
God.
You'll get there.
I'll get there.
Life is good.
Life is good.
Video games.
That was really fun to hear about.
Video games are good sometimes. Who knows what's going to happen? Who knows what's going to happen after this? I don't know that this is going to be what launches me into playing more video games again. But hey, I have World's End Club to look forward to.
Okay, I was going to say, do you have anything lined up?
Yeah, I got World's End Club, but I think I'm going to save that for after the dental thing, so I can just be like, I can just chill in bed and play a video game because I got it for Switch. So
nice. I'm excited to play Iwahime, but I want to finish Trails first.
Yeah. I wouldn't jump into Owaihime with something else. That's a lot of reading.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I guess if nobody else has got anything else to talk about, we're gonna go ahead and kick ourselves out of your ear holes for the rest of the time. It's over. We quit. I'm kidding. But we'd like to thank you all, of course, for coming out, giving us a listen. If it's your first time here, thanks for stopping by. If you're a long-time listener, we love you. Smooches. Mwah. Lots of hugs. All that fun stuff. John Thayer, please tell the internet at large where they can find you.
farawaytimes.itch.io. At the end of, I'm still throwing together a Facets re-release that'll have an easy mode and a book.
Oh, nice.
Along with it. So that's around the end of July. I think July 24th is the 3-year anniversary. So I'm shooting for that.
Oh, going for that, huh? Nice.
I know.
Nice to have like a date fixed to that because I've not heard anything so far. But now you're like tying it to another anniversary date the same way.
I know.
We did.
It's exciting. Makes me happy.
The same way we did afterward.
Yep.
Happy accident
like
there, though.
Fucking nerds.
Rats, where can the internet find you?
I'm on someone's Twitter feed and they literally post nothing but Hibiki. I've scrolled back like 5 months, so that's where I am.
So that's where you're at.
Crunchyroll.com/Symphogear.
Hey, Rhett, how was that feet stream, by the way?
I didn't watch that. I don't subscribe to her anymore.
Well, what, is she too weird for you now?
I mean, she does also talk in Japanese. There's only so much I can glimmer out of those. Yeah. But I did check it out, and it was indeed feet pics from viewers, and I tuned out.
Why the...
Apparently, this is not even the first time she's done it.
Oh, Jesus. What is
Someone was just like, oh, Hachima's doing another foot stream.
Oh, good. Man. Man, whatever. All right. We will catch you next episode, whenever that will be.
Oh, boy, yeah.
And remember, we are the podcast that loves you. We are the only ones that love you. Stick around. I'm going to send you all off on to a host. Let's see who be streaming on the Twitch. Who would be streaming video games on a Sunday, the day of our Lord?
Every VTuber.
The day of our Lord Hibiki.
The day of our Lord Hibiki. Oh, man. There's somebody getting ready to play Streets of Rage 1, 2, and 3. Those are good video games.
I want to play them.
Yeah, you've not played them, and that really bothers me.
I've played them. I've dabbled. I just haven't played them.
Just
closely.
Not like kind of like like nice close.
I haven't learned them.
Right.
I haven't really learned any beat 'em ups. They're hard.
Oh yeah, beat 'em ups require like a certain like you kind of got to learn to play beat 'em ups because there's a certain language that they all kind of.
Exactly.
Yeah, they all kind of go by.
I got through the first level of Streets of Rage and then got to the boss, and then I was like, "What?
You died on the first boss of Streets of Rage?
What?
I want you out of this podcast. I don't know. I don't know how you lose to the first boss of Streets of Rage.
I think I probably beat it. I just didn't know how to like not take hits. I was like,
"Oh,
wait, how do I dodge? What do I do?"
Off axis. Learn to be off axis with everything. We're gonna send everybody over to Jetstorm 4, who will be playing Dual Hearts, whatever the fuck that is. All right. So stick around for the raid, and we will catch you next time again, whenever that is. I don't know when it'll be. So thanks for coming out again, everybody. Much love. Bye bye.